Welcome to Crappens. Don't wait a week for a new video. Join our Patreon at the Crappens On Demand level for instant recap access. Link in description. Enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome to Watch What Crappens, a podcast about all that crap we just love to talk about on Bravo. I'm Ben Mandelker, and my sweet, sweet work husband Ronnie Karam is not here today because he's in the throes of BravoCon in Las Vegas. I don't know what he's up to. I know he's somewhere in the mix, but luckily we have someone that we love having on the show. She is so funny, and it's been way, way, way overdue. It's been way too long since she's been on here. The lovely and wonderful Rae Sanni. Hi, Rae. How are you?
Hi, Ben. Thank you for having me. I'm triggered by you saying that Ronnie's at BravoCon because I wanted to be there.
Well, guess what?
You know, the writer's strike affected your girl's funds, so we didn't make it over there.
Listen, you know what? We're going to have Crappens Con right now, party of two.
Ramona can say racist shit over here, okay?
This is where all the problematic outcasts of Bravo come over here.
Come over here.
I have to tell you, by the way, crazy shit has happened since Ronnie and I last recorded, okay?
Isn't that nuts? There was so much stuff.
But like stuff that's like, okay, that like Ronnie and I are a part of. So
wait,
I don't.
what? You have to
listen to this.
Okay.
Listen to this. Okay, so this Vanity Fair article comes out. By the way, I should say, everyone, this is a video too. So if you want to watch along, go to patreon.com/watchwhatcrappens. Rae looks gorgeous. So
Thank
just
you.
come,
I
just check out Rae.
Fishing, but I did beat my face. I sure did.
You did. So I like people. If you took that effort, then people should come see it. So you heard about this Vanity Fair article that came out earlier in the week, right?
I did think, can I be honest though, a little bit though?
Yeah.
I was expecting more explosiveness, to be honest.
Yeah, that exactly. As was I. I felt like we talked about this when we did our IG Live earlier in the week. I thought, like, if you're going to say, oh my God, it is a Bravo expose. Yeah. We're pulling the lid off of this thing. We are going
talk about Leah. I mean, seriously.
Well, it was Leah and Bethany. It was mainly Leah and Bethany. And then, by the way, Ramona's a racist. And like
I don't know that. Like we didn't know.
Like we didn't know that. And it's like, of course, none of that's good. I don't condone it, of course. But I'm reading.
This. I think part of watching Roni, at least for 6 years, you just kind of swallowed that this was a deeply racist person, but she was so nuts that it was fascinating. I don't know. I don't know how people, and I'm sorry I cut you off. My apologies.
Oh, no, please.
But I don't know what people are expecting from these women that we watch on this show. Obviously there are things that are egregious. Now, if Ramona was racially harassing her producers and stuff like the story told us, and Ebony has told us in the past, sure, Bravo, you need to do something about this. But am I surprised that a 60-something wealthy woman who lives on the Upper East Side,
Trumper,
Trump supporter who's out of touch with reality 90% of the time, may be racist and thinks that she can clear up a message to a reporter by saying, I didn't say that. She's crazy.
Yes.
I just don't understand why so many people. I understand why Bravo removed her. She's bad PR, absolutely.
Of course.
I just don't understand why the audience expected better.
I don't think actually a lot of the audience is really surprised. So one thing that Ron and I'm not going to speak for Ronnie, but I'll speak for myself, was the article to me was kind of bullshit. Not bullshit. It was just stupid because you're trying to take down all of Bravo and you're trying to make these damning claims about the Real Housewives when your primary sources are just two women from the same franchise and then a terrible story about a baddie racist lady who we all kind of suspect and kind of know already. So you're like, what sort of expose is this? This is just like Bethany's crusade, and you got the press release from Bethany and you followed up on it, and someone wrote a comment that was really good saying you're here trying to write an article about the exploitation that Bravo has of its stars, and you don't even bring up Kim Richards. And it's that just shows how So that just, they don't even mention Russell Armstrong. And so it just shows how
they don't mention
all the terrible things that have happened.
Right.
And it's not like I'm like, ha ha ha. It's not coming from a place of condoning it, but it just shows how the article lacked a real sense of like journalism. It didn't have any depth to it beyond what was on Real Housewives of New York. It was like a New York house takedown, but New York already took itself down.
It's also such a New York publication, you know?
True, but to me, it felt like sloppy journalism. And I feel like the general vibe amongst Bravo viewers was like a big shrug. Like, we've been watching Real Housewives for almost 20 years. Like, if the big takeaway is that they drink a lot, that adults drink, and that Ramona's racist, we're all kind of like, we gave it a shrug. Yeah, so that was Monday Monday or Tuesday when this landed. So
right.
1 a.m.
One more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna be controversial for the second thing. Two more things.
Please.
But
we love it.
Leah, like, I know that your job needs to be responsible about your addiction, right? But at the same time, too, you admit at the top of the article that you relapsed before filming started. Like, what were we supposed to do about that?
Yeah.
What was production supposed to? And you were lying about relapsing as well.
And also, like, I kind of do think that these shows are about like what I kind of want to sit here and watch to some degree, even though it's funny she's throwing torch. But what does it mean to relapse?
Yeah, what does it mean to relapse? What does it mean to be you? What does it mean? Like, obviously, it's exploitative if they put you in dangerous situations and they allow you to spiral without any correction. So, like, I do understand that part of it. But girl, they didn't cause you to relapse. You admit off rip in the article that your relapse was your own. And so it just seemed like, not that you have to be a perfect victim, quote unquote, but it just like, if you want to make a case, you got to make a good case. And I just don't think that starting off with, I relapsed, also I was lying about having relapsed, is a great way to make the case that these people exploited you. But
exactly.
Two, I don't see how Ebony K. Williams is vindicated. And I know that I'm Ebony's biggest hater, but like, honestly, we knew Ramona was racist. You didn't tell me nothing different. That don't mean your season wasn't bad.
Yeah.
That don't mean you didn't suck. Ramona sucks and you suck. So right. I'm just kind of like, what is this like redemption Ebony is getting online really quickly? Like, no.
I think that Ebony gets some redemption for basically in the same article where Bethany thinks she's leading a crusade, like she's Fran Drescher with the actors. You have Ebony being like, no, Bethany doesn't speak for me. I'm not gonna let that white lady speak for me. And that was hilarious. That was Bethany. That was Ebony's funniest thing that she ever wrote.
The funniest thing, exactly. The funniest thing. That's the only time anybody's enjoyed her. Give me a break. Give me a break.
So anyway, the point is actually not to rehash necessarily the article, but this is what's been crazy as we're in the middle of BravoCon. So yesterday, Ray, let me tell you what happened. I'm sitting there at the barbershop. Okay. And
your haircut looks nice. You always
look
handsome though. You're a handsome guy. You've always been.
Thank you. I try my best.
Man of fine. That's stupid.
But so our friend David, you remember David? He messaged and said, by the way, congrats on your mention on page 6. I was like, what is he talking about? So earlier in this week, because of this article, it kind of landed with a dud with Bravo viewers. It was just like stupid to us. So I made a little meme. I made a video. You know that famous video, that internet video of the reporter in the canoe who's like, oh my God, there's flooding. And as she's like on this canoe, 2 people walk by in the water and it's like ankle high.
No, I don't know this.
It's like a very famous meme of like,
so she's lying.
She's like, oh my God, tragedy. And then people walk by and it's fine. So I make a little video.
That's great.
It's funny. And with the reporter, I put down Vanity Fair. And then when the people walk by, I say Bravo viewers. Because it's like Vanity Fair is like, oh my God, there's this show. And people are drinking. And we're just like, whatever. This is old news. This is nothing to us walking on by. So it's this funny meme. I think it's funny. And it does well. So Andy Cohen responds to it.
What did he say?
He wrote an emoji that was like a laughing emoji, like ha 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 ha, because it's funny. Like we're all like, who cares?
Right.
So page 6 writes an article yesterday saying Andy Cohen subtly responds to allegations
Subtly.
of racism and exploitation in the
Please.
workplace.
Oh
And they're
my
like,
God.
on the Watch What Crappens social media, Andy Cohen wrote like a laugh emoji. So I'm like cracking up that the stupid video I made in bed at 1 a.m. now has a page 6 article that is surrounding it because Andy Cohen wrote an emoji. So then
Okay.
Bethany Frankel
Oh dear God.
Bethany Frankel goes on to her podcast
Oh
and she
dear
starts
God.
saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe it." So like there's this podcast I guess called Watch What Crappens, and
I
like
guess, bitch.
well, because remember when she was like, "I never watched Vanderpump Rules," so she's like, There's this podcast and Andy Cohen, they do a meme. They do a meme that's like basically saying like laughing at it's like racism. They like don't care. And then Andy Cohen laughs at it. Like you're just laughing.
Bethany doesn't
So
care about racism. What the fuck are we talking about here? Sorry.
she puts on her social media, as does Leah. They both put up a screen grab of the video and Andy Cohen, and the screen it basically says like, "Oh, really? Laughing about racism?
Oh my
Real cool. Is that what we're doing now? And drug use or something?" And it's like the meme is not about racism. The
No,
meme
it's
is about how this article thought it was going to shake our world and it didn't.
yeah.
So then Page 6 runs an article about Bethany Frankel taking Andy Cohen to task about the video. And then there's another article today about Leah McSweeney reacting to Andy Cohen reacting
how
to the
many
video.
impressions did these articles get? Like, how many new followers do you have? How many?
The followers are going nicely.
Yes.
And actually, and you know what's great? You know, usually when this happens, you think there'd be like a lot of comments of people who are going to be like Bethany. And it's like, everyone gets it. And everyone's like, Bethany, don't even you're trying to make a thing. Okay. And like our meme is not about laughing at racism and thinking racism is funny. Our meme is laughing at Bethany Frankel's attempt to scandalize us with this Vanity Fair article. And it failed. And Bethany, to that I say thank you. Thank you for getting us on Page 6. Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you for the free publicity. Thank you.
So
I think that's, first of all, I think it's so whack, in part because I think it's so whack for two wealthy white women in New York to try to like weaponize racism because their personal stories were not taken seriously, right? Because
for their grievances
it's
with Andy.
it's not like Leah specifically spoke out about Ramona's.
That's what I was going to say. Bethany, you've been filming with Ramona for basically 15 years. I guarantee you've seen way more things than the PAs on the set did, than Ebony K. Williams. You probably saw way more, and where are you coming out and saying things? So now you're angry at Andy Cohen. Bethany, I'm going to need you to start speaking up because I know for sure you've seen Ramona say lots of racist things.
Right. Well, so then here's why I don't think she'll speak up, because I think that, okay, listen, there's a contract I have to make as a Black viewer of these shows, particularly a Black woman who is not wealthy, right? When I'm watching, let's say New Jersey or let's say Orange County, I have to know that these women are probably really unsavory when they talk about people like me in private. You think I didn't know that? You think that it confounds me when I hear a Ramona is racist story? No. So if I'm not saying I give Ramona grace, because especially that final season, she was egregious at that Black Shabbat dinner.
I loved Black Shabbat.
But the Black Shabbat concept was also egregious, which is something Ebony doesn't get held accountable for. But please don't let me turn this into a rant against Ebony, because I don't want to turn your show into.
We are, by the way, here to talk about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. That's the shocking part. But like, this is stuff. This is stuff.
We'll get to it. I promise. But there is. Which isn't to say excuse all behavior, because I agree with the decision to get rid of, say, Kelly Dodd, because there is a certain amount of like too far, right? Mm-hmm. But or Jenny, right?
Well, Kelly Dodd is one of the few Black cast members on Orange County.
I know it. Was it 3%? She's 3% Nigerian.
I'm Black.
That's my sister, okay? Yeah. But like beyond the like egregious, outrageous, active in the present type stuff that we see and have to engage with and visibly are affronted with. Like, I am not confused that women of a certain socioeconomic class and certain demographics behave poorly in certain ways. I understand that. I also don't get the sense that they're being glorified for those things. I mean, we can, talk back and forth about who Bravo chooses to give a platform and how increasing their wealth, feels like encouragement. That's a valid conversation. But to act like we're all going to be shocked to find out that a senior citizen from the Upper East Side of Manhattan has said bad things about Black people is crazy to me. And I love how convenient it is, because didn't we watch Leah beg Ramona to be her mom for a season? Didn't we watch Bethany beg for Ramona to treat her nicely? Which isn't to say that like their claims of racism are invalid, but it's like you are complicit until it's inconvenient for you.
Mm-hmm.
Leah did Ultimate Girls Trip. She wasn't confused about what happened to her after she filmed 2 seasons of Real Housewives and then filmed Ultimate Girls Trip.
Exactly.
Because they didn't bring her back. And Bethany feels slighted by one episode of Watch What Happens Live and lost her shit. And like, fine, but like, don't weaponize trauma against me and my people to make a personal vendetta seem more morally important or valid.
Absolutely. I mean, I think there's nothing to add to that. There's nothing to add to that. So that was the big controversy this week, and of course,
I'm glad for all the views you got. Come on,
I love it.
Give us numbers.
Listen. I am happy to be a leech and to prey. I'm happy to be the lamprey on this controversy and take whatever views and followers I can get, and that we as Watch Crappens can get. That makes me very happy. And if I can't be at BravoCon, at least I can be part of some ridiculous.
If you don't mind me asking, is there a particular reason you're not at BravoCon, or just didn't work out wise?
There's no like reason with a capital R. It was a combination of like Ronnie and I were initially not going to go because it's really expensive and it's expensive, and like honestly the idea of like going to Vegas and going to a convention for 3 days and sort of like it felt like it might kind of be like work a little bit, it might not. It's one of those things where kind of part of me was like, oh, it will be really fun. Like the fan in me is like, this will be so fun. But then there's part of me that realistically is thinking this might wind up being more like work than fun. Yeah. But also
on top of that, you guys should have been invited to be panelists if you asked me. I feel like
that would have been really fun.
Danny, y'all are the most popular Bravo focused podcast. Like for me, a no-brainer.
Well, maybe next year we can be panelists. Obviously, I will 100% do that. I mean, look at how I'm like throwing myself into, like tangentially including myself into a Page Six thing as if like I'm actually a party of this. But actually also then when Ronnie did decide like 2 weeks ago, he changed his mind to decide he wanted to go. But by then, my boyfriend's parents are actually in town, so I'm like, I kind of feel shitty being like, and bye, I'm going to hang out with a bunch of depraved people who may or may not be racist. And then not the fans, I should say, not the fans, not the attendees. And then, but also, I had my appendix out 2 weeks ago. And,
I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's okay. It's fine.
But major surgery in general, even when like, fine, it's kind of
I feel
to be cut into by a stranger.
Yeah, exactly. And so I kind of feel like it probably is not the smartest thing for me to go to Vegas and be at my feet all day long, and I'll probably want to drink and get drunk.
Exactly,
it's just, you know what? Absence makes the heart grow fonder, and now maybe more people will be more fond of me. How about that?
Well, so if it makes you feel better, I went to BravoCon last year and I had a blast, but I, 1, did drink too much, and 2, spent entirely too much money. And so I also recently had major surgery, and I'm also trying to quit drinking. So the fact that they put like the worst addiction I have, which is Bravo, in a town that develops addictions and
Yes.
exploits them. It's like, why did you do this to me? Like, why
I
can't you
know.
just have it in New York or LA or some place that wouldn't turn me into a gambling loser, you know?
It looks like it's so much fun. Although I will say that there's already so much content coming through the social media channels that there's actually so much. It's overwhelming for me to take in, and
Already.
so
Yeah, I
therefore I'm
deleted
not
that
taking it
account.
in, and therefore I actually don't really have FOMO because I'm not really paying attention. I literally just saw footage of Tom Sandoval and James Kennedy doing push-ups on a stage, and I thought, you know what? I'm actually okay being in LA right now.
Yeah, I don't need that. I will say
So
that I have deleted Twitter and I had a burner account, obviously, but I deleted my main Twitter, and then on my burner account, I was accidentally getting Bravo stuff, and then I just muted BravoCon, the hashtag, and I'm doing fine. It feels
that's
okay.
good. Well, Ronnie will be back next week, and I'm excited for all his stories because he's already like run into various Bravo people, and we've been texting. I can't wait for him to tell everything. But for right now, we do have an
I'm
obligation
sorry. There's a
to
show
take.
that
There
we're,
is a show, a riveting,
but that's how
fascinating
excited
show.
we are about to talk about this show that we spent like 40 minutes trying to talk about anything else.
Anything else? Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Oh wow, what a Met episode. You know, Miami premiered also this week, right after
I'm
Beverly
saving
Hills.
Miami for this weekend.
You're gonna love it.
Okay.
Miami deserves better than that Beverly Hills lead in. And also
Oh,
Miami is showing like it is showing Beverly Hills up because you watch Beverly Hills, you watch this hour, which
mhm.
looks like it's filmed from a jar of Vaseline. There's so many filters on it.
It's the Barbara Walters
They
filter.
are Barbara Waltering all of them. And then you go to Miami where it's like sharp and beautiful and there's like stuff happening and like raw emotions and just excitement. It really makes Beverly Hills harder to watch. But
Really.
I'm not gonna be haters. So let's dive in. Let's dive in
Okay, hey,
on
can
Beverly
I
Hills.
forewarn your
Yes.
listeners?
Yes. Forewarn
Listen,
away.
I think, and I wanted this to not be true, but I do think Garcelle's a flop as a housewife, and I think it's time we said it. So if
Yeah,
you get
I
turned off by my Garcelle commentary going forward, I apologize in advance, but she is such a flop. I don't know. She's a flop. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I cut you
I
off.
feel like I'm getting the sense that this is her flop season for me. I don't think that she's overall a flop. I feel like she has moments of being really good, and she's at her best when she is like going after Erica or
Adversarial
Kyle
in a
when
good
she's like that.
situation.
But I sense that she is very self-aware of those moments, and I suspect I imagine there's a lot of pressure on her, and she probably doesn't want to be angry black woman, all that stuff. But the truth is, when she does kind of like put some pressure on people, she's really really good, and I kind of
Mhm.
want more of that. You know,
But like
she doesn't do it.
like she's beautiful, right? She's nice to look at, but then her clothes flop, her style flops, her hair flops, right? So then it's like I don't even get the fashions to make me feel like okay,
Yeah,
it's worth it. And then outside of her, like you said, conflict with Erica and her, you know,
Brenna maybe.
right? Yeah, like who gives a fuck? I don't care, you know.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm a little. Her scenes have been a little dull this
A
season. So
little. I fast forwarded through that shit with her kids. I don't give a fuck if your
yeah,
teenage son is salty about how you raised him. We all are. That's how being 15 goes.
yeah, exactly. As you're sitting there on the beach, steps away from your house.
Yeah,
Okay,
right.
so this episode we get we get the opening line, we get the taglines for the first time. So we start with Garcelle. Speaking of, who said
Why she
this is
center Peach? Excuse me. Why she center Diamond? By the way,
I'm I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
nothing in the previews have suggested any justification for this.
Maybe Bravo just feels bad about how everything went down with like Diana Jenkins last
Oh,
season
okay,
and
fair
like the
enough.
bots and everything. So Garcelle's line is, "I may act for a living, but I never fall for a bad performance." Yeah, thumbs down. Ray's giving it a thumbs down on the
Yeah,
video.
thumbs out.
It's a little
Boo.
meh. It's a little meh. Then we have Sutton who
Is she talking
says,
about Erica? By the way.
I think maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. Sutton says, who needs a knight in shining armor when you've got your own horse?
It's so stupid and camp like Sutton, so I'm happy with it.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. Erica, the best part about losing everything is getting it all back. It's a little
What you
generic.
got back, girl? What you got back?
What did she get back? What did she get back?
Nothing. She didn't even get the rumor went around that she got the diamond earrings back, and she didn't even get them back. She only got the judge saying that she shouldn't have lost them, but she didn't retrieve them back. So what did you get back, Erica?
Well, it's not her music career because you have to have that in the first place. So Dorit says, fashion is my language, and I speak it fluently.
Oh, girl, come on.
I mean, it's a little late, that one. I mean, her
Yeah.
accents and it's fine. Okay, this one is my favorite just because it's so ill-conceived. Like, this is a real mess.
Okay.
This one, like, I'm like, did you think about this one before you said it? Okay, this is Crystal.
Mm-hmm.
They say wisdom comes with age. Wait, I'm sorry. This is like, I can't believe this is a tagline. Okay. They say wisdom comes with age, but I'm proving otherwise. She's trying to say I've got wisdom. I'm young and I have wisdom, but it sounds like she's getting older and dumber. I'm getting older, but I don't have much wisdom.
And also, she hasn't talked. It took an episode and a half for her to talk. So what wisdom are you imparting? You just looking. You just looking at stuff. Is it looking wise? Are you looking wisely?
I literally did a mashup. As long as I'm tuning my own Instagram horns, I did a mashup last week. I took every single scene, every single moment of Crystal on the season premiere. Anytime she talked, or anytime her face was fully on camera. So like no back the head
you
stuff.
got 30 seconds. That's what you got.
Oh, you wish. It was 12 seconds long.
Shut the fuck up.
Rob spoke more than Crystal. She literally said, hi. And she said, yeah. And then she said something like, look at her. It was actually disrespectful. Yes.
Now I have a question. You know these women get paid by episode. Does her 12-second appearance in an episode count for a payment?
That's very interesting. I mean, she said a line, so maybe it's like SAG rules. Like, she said a line, she's got to get paid. She said yeah. But anyway.
Oh my
God. They say wisdom comes with age, but I'm proving otherwise. I feel like that is such a terrible, terrible tagline. It really, when I first heard it, I thought she was literally saying, I'm not getting wisdom.
I'm dumb.
I'm dumb. I'm dumb. I'm a dumb person. Okay, and then finally we have Kyle who says, it's hard to outrun rumors, but luckily I'm in better shape than ever. Shut up. Don't brag about you being in good shape. Makes it triggering me.
She's weightlifting, you know?
She is.
That's important for us to know, apparently.
It is. Yeah, she is weightlifting. And do you notice that ever since she started lifting weights, maybe she's always had this, but she's sort of walking around now like she's going to sell a horse at a trading post, right? Have you noticed that? She's sort of she's sort of like her torso sort of like bent forward and her legs are at. There was a few seasons ago where she was making fun of the way that Teddy walked. But now that's exactly how Kyle is walking. She's sort of like, howdy, partner.
Because the walk that I noticed was Sutton's.
What was her walk?
Sutton has horrible posture. I noticed her walk in the season premiere when she and Garcelle get out of the limo or whatever car when they're walking up to the Eagle Woman's location. Sutton has a hunch and her hips are forward.
Oh no! And she's a former dancer. That's surprising. I mean, I have that too, but I'm not a dancer.
There's nothing graceful about it. I was like, holy fuck, this is weird.
So,
at least Kyle looks kind of like. Do you watch Justified?
No, but the with what's his
Timothy
face?
Oliphant, his gorgeous self, and Walton Goggins. But if you watch Justified, Timothy Oliphant has a very like my back straight.
Yeah.
and I'm stoic, but my like cowboy boots are making noise and they're aggressive or whatever. And that's what Kyle's giving me lately. And I don't know if that's like her new lesbian energy, but it's giving cowgirl, you
Yeah,
know?
like she's definitely has some sort of like country western thing going on. She sort of looks like she also kind of looks like she's someone in CrossFit who's like about to pick up a sack of something. You know, like they sort of like they do that thing, they put their legs out, they're like, okay, engage the lumbar. You
Also,
know?
if we're going there, I'm not gonna lie. Kyle has, in my opinion, the best work that I've seen over a decade
Her
on these
work is
shows.
amazing.
But this season, she looks hard to me. Like
She
she's
does.
leaning into a more masculine kind of
Well,
energy.
it's because I think there's like a quote. It may be from Catherine Deneuve. I could be wrong, or maybe it's
Okay.
someone else. That was kind of like her quote was something like, at a certain point, a lady has to choose whether she wants to look young, or it was like a lady can decide whether she wants to look young or not eat, or basically it was like
But
at a
it
certain
doesn't mean
point,
she's not eating and
if
looking
you're not
young.
eating, you lose the fat in your face, and then
Yeah.
all the hardness
Yes.
comes out. You know.
But
Sorry,
I don't
Catherine
know, she just
Deneuve.
looks hard to me in a different way. And maybe it's because her countenance is sort of reflecting her attitude toward Mauricio and her like constant irritability and frustration. And I know that like when you're newly sober, you're more irritable and sensitive and stuff, but there's just something like very square and like angry, you know?
Yeah, it's called she has no more children that she has to be a mom for, really.
Okay. So she doesn't have to be
It's
tough
called
anymore.
Portia. Portia is the last one, and she's 14, and she's starting to become independent. And Kyle now has to look at whatever cracks are in her
Her
life and
life.
marriage. Like she cannot pour herself into her children anymore. And this is a
Yeah.
thing that happens with people. And I think that, and then she, well, she's made herself a victim into what happened last season. But I think the truth is that she realized that despite everything Kathy did, the audience was still on her side, and Kyle will never win. And she's just like,
Myself
fuck it.
included. Myself included.
Yeah, she's like, fuck it. Like, what else do I have?
Mhm.
Like I've tried, I've given up. She's given up,
Mhm.
sort of,
She's
and
she's fully tired. You know how like Tyler Perry writes movies about tired black women?
well, I did see
Yes,
the feature film Temptation, Tyler Perry's Temptation. So yes.
exactly. So this is what it looks like when Tyler Perry writes a white woman. Kyle is tired. Okay? Get over it.
She does seem withdrawn and tired. She's not doing the same usual things, and yeah, I think she is coming face to face with issues she's probably ignored in her life.
Her life was
So, but before we get to Kyle, we have Dorit and Erica walking up to a picnic, basically on that little park in Beverly Hills that's like right by Santa Monica Boulevard. And two girls, Jill and Tara from Dolce Picnics, have set up this ornate picnic for two people who are not going to touch a single piece of food.
crazy. Crazy. Embarrassing.
And it was so perfectly timed because earlier this week we were watching. Did you watch Salt Lake City this week?
No, I did not. I
Okay.
refuse to watch Salt Lake City as long as Mary's on there. I know that that makes me unfun, but I cannot stand her.
I would honestly reconsider. I think that
Really?
like Mary is in a really hilarious lane. I know Mary comes with lots of baggage and
She's
yada
very
yada yada.
off-putting to me. Like I cannot. I find her so disrespectful and
She
rude. It's
is.
not even like fun rules of engagement. Like she is just so mean. She's
She
just
is
so
literally the
mean.
meanest. She's literally so mean. But I think that the way they have sort of like slotted her in is working very
Okay.
well for me.
Okay. We'll see.
But anyway, the reason why I bring it up is that this week on Salt Lake City, they went. Some of them went like cross country skiing, and then afterwards they set up some chairs in a parking lot next to a mound of like tall, dirty snow. You know those mountains of
Yes.
snow that wind up in. So it's like this wet parking lot,
The
dirty
rest
snow.
hasn't melted yet, but it got
Yeah,
dirty because it's been around for a long time.
it's been plowed a lot, and so they set up a little table and like Heather Gay is pulling the plastic off of some supermarket olives. And
Isn't
I said,
she always eating in snow? Why is Heather always eating in snow?
it's just what I guess Utah people do. So
Okay.
this happens, and I made a joke about like this is hilarious because this is so Salt Lake City. They're sitting in a parking lot with dirty snow, whereas on Beverly Hills, if they have like a picnic, it's gonna be the most floral and
Yes.
over the top thing. And then here we are, the very next Beverly Hills episode.
Parking lot.
They're in this
Eating
like
a
gorgeous $5,000 picnic, you know, and it's just not gorgeous, but it's like tacky. But like
Okay.
the point is that like the production like basically paid for like a nice ass
Very
picnic
nice.
for them.
Oh, you think that production pays for this stuff? I still am
I
baffled.
think they gotta subsidize. Maybe
Oh,
subsidize
you think
it.
it's subsidized? Or
Either
at
way,
least
it's
the company-
arranged.
At least the company gives something for the free promo.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. The company probably does something for free. So Dorit and Erica sit down, and Dorit's like, "Gee, thank you for coming, Erica. Listen, I consider you a very dear friend, and
Do
I
you?
know we, yeah, really, like, are they really dear friends?"
I think
And so
my
she's-
dear friend wouldn't have gone on TV or whatever and been like, "Yeah, leaving you right away." Sorry for N words, but like honestly.
And so she goes like, "Well, I guess what was disappointing for me is you didn't lead with an apology. And I was a little taken aback, you know, like when I saw PK reaching for lean cuisine. It was very alarming." So Erica's like, "Oh, well, you know what? I did the wrong thing, and I don't want to re-explain myself. It literally just like popped into my head, and I sold it on the stage. Like, sold it on the stage like this was like a big, you know, showbiz moment."
Like this was one of her $7 shows in Vegas. So I sold it on the stage. What did you sell? You sold that my marriage was miserable. But then at the same time though, like Dory, your marriage is in trouble though. So what are we mad about?
Well, and that's what's so weird is that like Dorit goes, I'm sorry, no, it was Erica goes a little bit. They talk it out and everything, and like, "Oh, you know, I wish if I had known." And Erica goes, "If I had known that PK and Dorit were in a rough spot, I never would have said that. I would have ruined somebody else's life." I was like, okay, so you're
strategically starting to ruin someone's marriage. I didn't get the understanding. So you know you were lying when you answered the question.
You knew you were lying, and if you had known, you would have lied in a
Lied on
different
someone
way to protect your friend.
Oh my God! If I knew, I would have said Carl and Lindsay.
But meanwhile, like Erica's big thing is that like she's fending off rumors that she knows things, and she acts like she doesn't know them, and so she's basically saying, "Yeah, oh, if I had known this, I wouldn't have said anything. I would have been a good
That's
witness."
True too. We're just like, oh, okay. I would have been a better liar if you had told me this stuff was going bad.
But since you didn't tell me, I decided just to take an unnecessary hit on you, even though there's an entire network of losers that I could have just pulled two names out of.
Yes. And also, I don't believe that for a second. I do think that she assessed that PK and Dorit were in trouble. I didn't think that PK and Dorit were in as much trouble as it seems like Dorit saying that they are now. But if my husband is not sensitive to me, and my maybe real or not robbery, but then also what stood out to me was like, you got into a DUI and you didn't call me first. You're a hider. You hide things.
Yeah.
We're not simpatico. If you can't tell me that you got drunk and I need to come get you or whatever, like how I didn't find out I found out the next day, but was it Mauricio, whoever found out first? Like that's crazy. We're in a bad spot personally, I think.
Well, Dorit has a lot going on because she tells us this story, which made me laugh. She goes,
"You buy any of Dorit's stories?"
Well, this story was really great. So obviously she went through this horrific home invasion that we all know about, and that is like legitimately traumatizing. So then she says, "Last Christmas was about 14 months. Here, gather round. Here's the story of Dorit. Last Christmas was about 14 months after the home invasion. So I went to the bank and took out $10,000. So, money for Christmas gifts, as one does. So then she goes, I had my handbag in the shopping cart, and I was going to and fro, gift to gift, Christmas tree to Christmas tree, buying wafers for children and tinsel for the animals. And I got to the register, and I realized, gee, my handbag was gone. Your handbag of $10,000 in cash.
What $10,000 can fit in a handbag? First of all, you lying ass bitch. That's a big bag.
Well,
so
yes.
That's one. And then two, you absurd ass bitch. Why'd you pull out $10K in cash if you are gonna go Christmas shopping unless you don't have a credit card because you have bad credit, like we all think you do, and nobody's giving you a credit card? Come on, this is absurd.
Yes. And also, why are you taking out 10,000? Like, just take out like maybe $500 chunk, and then go 10,000. But she also says like, oh, well, I had to take out $10,000 for Christmas gifts. Are you getting everyone a Subaru? Like, I'm.
Where did she go? I was like, 10K at Walmart? That's aggressive.
And she's just walking around with it just like, and here's the thing.
And you just got robbed and you have a handbag full of dollars and you're not especially attentive. What is happening with this girl?
Yesterday I went to a coffee shop and I was like sitting at a table with my little phone, and I had to like throw my napkin in the trash. The trash was like 3 feet away, and I got up, and the entire time, in the 6 seconds from when I went to the trash, I went back to my spot where I was sitting. I was like, someone's gonna take my phone. Someone's gonna take my phone. Someone's gonna take my phone. Like, right? I do not leave personal possessions around anything.
Anywhere.
My car got broken into in 2002, and to this day, I will not leave anything worth more than $15.
Yes,
okay? And here comes Dorit, just like pushing around a cart with $10,000 in the bag and not even paying attention to the bag. And not even paying attention to people walking by the bag.
I promise you, if 3 men were following me around a store, I would notice. I'm sorry. I don't know. Maybe I was just raised suspicious because I live in New York, but no, it's not going to be 3 men following me. And then when I reach for the whatever fancy chips she was trying to reach in the aisle, she got her high-end sun chips or some shit. Yeah. Someone's going to take my $10,000.
$10,000. Don't put it all in one place. Maybe put some in your back pocket. Or like
this also. And to me, why would it be in your cart? Why would a purse of $10,000 be in the front of your cart? It would be under everything.
Is she like, what's so funny? In my mind, I'm thinking she's buying Christmas gifts at Neiman's or something like that. If she's in a cart, that means she's at a big box store.
Hello? She's at Costco. What, did she put it on the bottom of the cart? Like, where did she, how like at Costco you have to put like the big box of Tide on the bottom of the cart because it's too big?
Yeah, is she at Smart and Final? I mean, like, you're not even going to Bloomingdale's and have you just don't have carts in those places.
So what are we, like,
she had Sprouts.
I don't want to accuse this woman of lying, but all of this seems so goddamn absurd.
It is. There is something so fishy, but by the way, this is the best kind of fishy.
No,
this is my favorite. Like, this is my favorite scandal, So then she says that this brought her right back to her PTSD. And, she's going through it because she put $10,000 into her shopping cart at Kohl's, browsing the Lauren Conrad collection.
Her, How do you not notice 3 people on your ass? Come on, Ben.
I don't know. She's like, oh, the fans. I have such big fans here. So anyway, Erica and Dorit hug, and they're fine. Everything's okay.
I know that apology seemed kind of bogus, if you ask me. Like, my feelings were hurt about the public rightly calling me out for being a C word about my husband stealing the property of other people, so I lied and said that your marriage was in trouble. Like what? Why did we buy that, Dorit? Why was that hug worthy? What's going
Because
on?
they're like endlessly fascinated by Erica. I think they think Erica is the coolest person they've ever met,
Which
and they
is
just like.
why though?
I think they see her. She has like fashion. She's like, I don't give a fuck, and they're like, that's
But
so
she gives
cool.
all the fucks, actually. She's the
She gives
biggest
all the
grudge
fucks.
holder. She's so self-serious. Come on.
Last week when she's like, empathy. What is
I
that?
could not believe that. So the way she acted like it was a revelation when Dr. Jen was like, put yourself in their shoes and think about how much it would be hard for them. And then Erica repeats twice, for them.
For them. How much do their shoes cost? So now we go to Sutton with her gay Avi, and we just
Do we
see
like
him.
Avi? I thought he was a little cute.
I like Avi. I like him a lot. I feel like he's like, I like him a lot. I feel like he's got like a little bit of personality.
He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows what he's supposed to be doing for the cameras. Like, I don't know. I like him.
I feel like he could be with us for several years.
Yeah,
like he's like I'm definitely like approved.
And I like that playful dynamic where it's like, I'm the overwhelmed worker, and here's here's my overbearing boss, but her friends love me. I loved every part of it.
And he gives her some shit. Like Sutton's gay last year was just sort of like generic and smiling, and Avi's just like, but they're like pouring a drink. She's like, "Are you gonna have a drink, Avi? It's 5:30." So they're pouring themselves cocktails, and Sutton FaceTimes with Garcelle. Garcelle's telling, okay, this is actually where I was like, okay, Garcelle is maybe on a flop season, because she's like, oh well, Jax, I just found out Jax has a game at 5:30, and then Jade has a basketball game, so I'm rushing to the game, and I'm like, I really don't care.
No, I don't
This is not TLC. This is Bravo.
I do not give a fuck. Do you hear me?
I don't care.
I just do not.
Do not care about the kids' sporting schedules. And that goes for any child on Bravo.
Yeah.
So Sun's sitting here pouring herself a cocktail, and she goes, well, I've got a sick child in the house, and I'm heading to Vegas. You think that Crystal needs to let us... Your child is sick, and you're like, I'm going to go to Vegas. I'm going to have a cocktail. I'm going to Vegas.
No, she's done being a mom, okay? She needs to do something.
She's like, I don't know which child it is. I don't know if it's the girl or the boy, or maybe just some stuffed animal.
There's somewhere in our 24,000 square foot house.
There's some sort of...
Who cares?
There's some sort of smell of child up there, and I think it's sick. I'm hearing wheezing. Unless it's with...
I can pay to pretend to care about this.
I called Uber. I'm going to have them take care of the child. They do that, right? Can we go to Vegas?
Postmates raise your children.
I postmated a thermometer. Can't spell thermometer without mom, am I right? So they're going to go to Vegas. Garcelle and Sutton are planning a birthday weekend in Vegas for Crystal, who's on the show.
That is the least fun. God forgive me, but that sounds so unfun.
Garcelle and Sutton planning a Vegas vacation. Now, if they said, I'm planning a vacation in Santa Fe, we're going to spas, I'd be like, oh yeah, Sutton and Garcelle got this. But like Vegas...
Sutton and Garcelle planning a party for Crystal, give me a fucking break. Yeah.
It's not gonna be a great Vegas weekend.
No.
So then this lady Alessandra comes over, and she's a matchmaker, and she's very excited. She reminds me of actually Chef Penny from Vanderpump Rules, who, by the way,
oh yes, who we haven't seen in such a long time.
We haven't, but she randomly started following me yesterday. So
it's really?
So much has been happening in social media.
This week is your week, my guy.
Do I even need BravoCon when I've got Instagram?
Yes, exactly. You have Page 6 and Chef Penny. Who needs BravoCon?
It's a huge week for me. So anyway, but she does look like a young Chef Penny, and she's like, "Oh my God, I love the pink you're wearing, Sutton. Thank you so much. Oh my God, so okay, what's going on?" And Avi's like, "What can I get you?" He goes, "Oh my, you know what? Water would be wonderful. Thank you so much." I'm like, "Lady, you got to take it down a peg. She's auditioning right now."
Now she's hype about that H2O. Okay.
She really is. So Sutton tells us that she's the best, that the Alessandra's known as the best. And then Sutton, they clearly gave Sutton a line that Sutton did not understand, but was like, "Okay, I'll try to recite this."
What was the line? Okay.
She goes, "At this point, she is my only hope. It's like Obi-Wan Kenobi." I was like- and then she goes, "Help me." I'm like, "You don't know how to do that."
Avi was sitting in the background like, Sutton, we worked on this.
He's like, "It's a trap." Yeah, watching her trying to recite Star Wars lines was great.
You don't think she's seen any Star Wars?
She has definitely seen a Star Wars. But I think, okay, she probably saw the original. She may have seen all three in her youth.
Okay.
And then she may have seen like one of the J.J. Abrams ones, and she was like, it was a bit too much. There was aliens, and there was like spaceship, and
what if she got turned off by Jar Jar Binks in like 2002 and never returned to the franchise?
What if that's like me? I've watched all three of those awful prequels because of sunk cost fallacy.
You had to finish. You just had to finish.
I had to finish. I didn't care. I literally did not care. It turned me off of Star Wars. But then I actually really liked the first J.J. Abrams one. And I was like, that was amazing. And then I watched the next one and I hated it. So I'm off of Star Wars again.
Oh, okay. I personally have never seen the Star Wars, but I am randomly like well versed in the references.
I like you said, like you're randomly well versed as if it's not part of like everyday fabric on the internet.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, that's what it is. The internet told me I should know when this is funny, so even I knew that Sutton delivered that line terribly.
I know, she just really like, she just could not. It was like you could see her trying to say it, and you could tell this was like the 12th take, and she still was trying to figure out like, I don't get it. Obi-Wan, what's the name? Is his name Kenobi? Is it
Kenobi.
Obi? Is it Ben? Is his name Ben, or is it Obi, or is it Juan? Juan, Juan. Juan. Is he Spanish? They're like, okay, we'll just piece this together. Just somehow make this work.
Kenobi a space and place in Mexico.
Kenobi. Kenobi, is that a restaurant we can go to? So Sutton's like, "I don't know, Alessandra, what's going on, but I've been divorced for 7 years, and I've been doing this in a while, and I call myself the one-date wonder. I don't tend to, I guess, click with people. I don't get asked out a second time, or really a first time now that I think about it."
You know, men just don't like me, but it has nothing to do with me. I'm just not ready to give up my power, you know.
Like your power. And so she starts saying like, "My intellect is superior to most."
I was like,
And
girl,
I don't
right.
I was like, okay, settle down, Mensa.
I know, right? Honestly, like, Sutton, like, you're great on TV, but you're just a weird ass bitch, right? Like, these men are not intimidated by your intelligence. They're intimidated by your weirdness, right?
I know. And then she's like, "I don't wear revealing things like slutty. I might be nervous and I act strangely." And we see clips of her like,
that's the answer. It was like it took her so long to get there. Oh, they're intimidated by my intelligence. Oh, maybe I'm anxious. And maybe I act weird. Yes, bitch. That's the first bullet point.
You act weird. You act weird and you wear cat sweaters a lot.
Yes, exactly.
Although I support the cat sweaters.
I
So
don't like cat sweaters, but not on a date. Listen, you don't have to dress slutty to not look like a nut job.
that's right. Yeah, it doesn't have to be one or the other, you know?
Honestly.
So Alessandra's like, okay, great. So what's like the ideal partner for you? So she, of course, is like tall, handsome, graduated from college, which doesn't totally narrow it down.
Nothing.
And no. And then basically Alessandra's like, okay, so here's my idea with the man. You're going to let the man lead because that's what men should do in life.
I was like, oh my God, look at these two misguided fools. Like, I don't want anything to do with either of them. Please do not call this lady to my house to give me some bullshit like that. Let the man lead. We haven't even met the man. Is he worthy of leadership?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's always hilarious the number of con artists that also hang around this cast.
That's
from
true.
from the two girls who charge probably $50,000 for a picnic to now Alessandra the matchmaker who's probably just gonna like hook up
I actually
Sutton with
was
Pauly
wondering
Shore.
that. Do you remember what's her name? What's her name from $1 Million Matchmaker?
Patty Stanger.
Patty. I was like, okay, does she charge Patty numbers? Because Patty got no results. Patty got no results. It was so famous. So I'm sitting here like, what? When Sutton says that Alessandra is known around Beverly Hills, known for what? Letting the men lead? Like, what are we talking about here?
Does Beverly Hills have a great track record with marriages that work out? Because as
like,
far as I can tell,
and then my next immediate thought was like, okay, but does Alessandra take clients who are Black women in New York because of Ish might need some help?
you're like,
I
that
don't mind
being
a
said,
divorce or two, you know?
you're like, I'll let the man lead.
I'll let the man lead if he pays for stuff. You can lead if you pay for things.
Yeah, exactly. So okay, so then so now we go to I was like, why did I write this down? I'm a boss, I'm a big boss. Okay, so we now go to I was like, what? We're going to Gracias Madre. And so Bravo, in an effort to kind of make Beverly Hills seem more exciting than it is, has now put in a lot of Selling Sunset music. So now it's like, I'm a boss, I'm a big boss, I'm a big boss. You're going to Gracias Madre. You're going to like a lovely vegan Mexican restaurant on San Monica Boulevard or Melrose Boulevard.
Yes, I think I've been there.
It's so good. It's so good, but it's not where you go to be like, I'm a boss. Like, I feel like I'm gonna be like, I'm a boss when I go into like a steakhouse. But like, I'm a boss.
Very accessible for most of us.
I'm gonna get some cauliflower.
Yeah. I'm gonna get some cilantro.
Yeah. So it's Crystal and it's her husband Rob and her brother. I think that Lin-Manuel Miranda is behind the bar. I'm not totally sure, but I'm pretty sure that's who we saw tossing a cocktail shaker.
Yes! Oh my God.
Did you see that guy?
Oh my God, all he needed was that like baseball cap or that Newsies cap and just a couple raps. He just raps us the menu.
He's like, they call it Gracias Madre, but I've got something that's Padre. The history of this place is Mexican food, but vegan, because I'm in the new league and I'm in Miranda and Hamilton. I can't believe I'm in the same room. Shot, tools.
Wait, time out. When did you become a freestyle rapper?
I don't know. I've never done that before. I'm like, my heart's racing.
Come on.
My heart is racing. Can I do a musical?
Nicki Minaj is in trouble. Nicki Minaj is in trouble, man.
All I know is I was like, oh no, I just said vegan. I've got to rhyme it with something.
No, but you didn't just rhyme vegan. You put two words together.
I'm in another league. It was very exciting to step into the world of Lin-Manuel Miranda and Hamilton.
Come on, musical. Come on, music. Wait, are you gonna write an intense musical about the history of Los Angeles, but cast everybody interracially? It's gonna be amazing.
And then it'll be like a rap, but then it'll be like Gracias Madre, built on the Boulevard of Dreams, but I'm in a restaurant. You know, it like suddenly gets like everyone's like harmonizing really big and like fist in the air.
It's gonna be an Asian person rapping about tacos, and that's gonna sell it. It's gonna be amazing.
Honestly, just cast Crystal's brother. He needs to be
oh
a pop
shit,
star.
duh! The Asian Justin Bieber.
That's right. So, okay, so they're sitting there, and Crystal reminds us that Jeff is a pop star in China, which is so funny to me. Then Crystal's like, "Oh, hey, is this triggering because the bridal shower was just around the corner, which I have to imagine was Catch, because Catch is around the corner from
Oh,
Gracias
really?
Madre.
Okay.
So that feels like that would be the bridal shower
Have you ever
place.
been to Catch? Did you like it? I know the Catch in New York is unpopular, too uncool for Bryn. But what about the Catch LA?
I have never been to Catch in LA. I'm open to going, but generally I like to go to restaurants that have 4 Yelp stars or above.
Oh, they don't have good Yelp
I'm
reviews?
I don't believe so. Maybe they've gone up. Okay, now I've got to look up Catch Los Angeles Yelp.
I went for like my birthday a couple years back. Extremely overrated and
You know
very
what?
expensive.
It's got 3.5 stars.
Yeah.
No, I mean honestly, everyone there looks like Larsa Pippen, and I just
That was actually exactly what I hated about it. It was just like I went in there and one of my friends looks like a basketball wife. Like she looks like she should bag an NBA player wherever we go. And I certainly do not look like that. So then I was just in there. I was like, oh my God, this feels like a VH1 reality show casting call. Like, what the fuck am I supposed
I don't know. I'm gonna be like, "Hi, everyone." So anyway, so okay. So now Crystal tells a story that is supposed to somehow be sympathetic, but she
I know,
says,
right? I didn't give a fuck. God forgive me.
but also it's fucked up. She's like, so 3 years ago, Jeff was engaged and he was living in China, and right before the wedding, the pandemic happened, and so Crystal and her mom begged Jeff to come back to America, but his fiance couldn't come because of she had a Chinese passport. And Krista goes, and I think that's why they broke up. I'm like, yeah, because there was a global pandemic and your life partner skipped to a different hemisphere and left you behind. Is this supposed to be sympathetic? In what world do you do that to your fiance?
And also, like, my brain went, if it was just because of the logistics, distance in the pandemic, well, the pandemic's over now. Not over, but like, it's not the same danger that it was. And he's still obviously a pop star in China, so he's going back and forth.
Also, what kind of
Distance wasn't the issue. He probably did some fucked up shit. Like, there was something that happened besides distance and a vaccine, you know?
Because let me tell you something. Justin Bieber can smuggle Haley out of a country. Okay. So if you are China's Justin Bieber, you have some clout.
You can expedite an American passport, sir.
We can get that working out. Okay.
Yeah, come on. And they would absolutely let you marry your wife and bring her over. Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me?
Shannon Bedore's upset.
Oh, wow, it's terrible.
So anyway,
are you kidding me? Gonna go over and fucking rehab?
There were photos of Shannon at BravoCon. They're like, look at Shannon. Looks like she's not drinking. I was like, okay.
Well,
Report that to Vanity Fair.
Follow her on that though. We shouldn't be on her ass about that.
Well, no, it was supportive. It was a supportive post. It was like, look at her.
Take a picture at all, supportive or not. Like, I don't know. I would hate to be a public figure who needs to get sober, and you guys are all aware of it. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's true. But that being said, Shannon walking the dog after she crashed her car into a house still is one of the funniest things. I'm sorry, drunk driving is horrific, and I think that there should be great repercussions for it.
When someone doesn't get hurt, it's fucking hilarious. Like, what the things people do to cover up their drunk driving is so funny to me. Like Joe Judice, like his bullshit.
He flipped his car, and then he's like, yeah, and so I was right near my dad's house, my father-in-law's house, so I went up there.
Relax and calm down.
I took 5 shots to calm down.
Like, what?
Please stop. Listen, I think that, like, in general, like, we need to have separation of church and state in terms of, like, we have to, like, be able to acknowledge that certain, like, drunk driving, for instance, is horrific, and that no one thinks that's funny. Obviously, same with, like, things like racism or any of the ills of our society. But we should also be able to see the things that are funny that come out of these things. Because there's a lot of funny stuff that comes out. Less so of racism, but more of drunk driving or just any terrible antic.
No, but also with racism, too, because sometimes the way people misbehave is so illogical and so absurd. Like, you just have to laugh. Like, did you really just, like, walk into the store and call me 10 N-words because I was drinking chocolate milk? Like, is that really what you did today? Like, sometimes it's so absurd. It's hilarious.
Yeah, we have to be able to appreciate the absurdity, and I always feel like that's what Bravo has been really good at, and so
Which
it's
is
been
why
hard.
it blows my mind that people are trying to take them down for documenting how absurd these absurd people are.
Exactly. That is the central premise of, I would say, the whole network. Like, we are rubbernecking people who are misfits in society. It's like, how are these people functioning in polite society? I'm not here to like hang out with people I want to be my friends. I'm here to look at terrible people and how do they function.
If you ever in your life thought that like Shannon B. Dorr should be like the leader of your friend group and your moral compass, you are a dummy. This woman is scared of the placement of lemons in her house, and you want her to be like the figment of like responsibility. Get out of here. You know?
Get out of here. Okay, so Jeff is sad because he misses his wife that he abandoned and left to die in a global pandemic.
Why can't you just be with her again? You fucked up real bad is what happened.
He fucked up. So Crystal talks about maybe getting a matchmaker for him. So suddenly we're seeing some sort of matchmaking theme happening. And then they make some jokes.
Need more than one matchmaker on this show. We've already gotten a matchmaker storyline from Garcelle when her storyline flopped a couple seasons ago. Let's be honest here. She flopped with this matchmaker shit like 2 years ago. I don't need it again.
Honestly, the matchmaker thing has never worked on Bravo, with the exception of, I would argue, people are not going to want to hear this, but when a matchmaker went on to Roni and Ramona tried to like work her magic on a guy with a red scarf, and it was just like hilarious watching.
And then he liked Carol, right? Or was
he like Carol? I think he was like set up with Bethany, but I think he went for Carol. But then he flirted with.
That's the only time matchmaking works, because the women on the OG New York cast did not give a fuck. They would steal your man and they do not care. They will smash your man in front of you. They will pull him to the side. It's almost like how at the strip club, I'm only saying this because I used to be a stripper, like it used to get cutthroat. Like if you left a high rolling customer for 2 minutes because you had to dance on stage, every girl would pounce. That's how they move on the OG Roni cast. They move like strippers at the strip club, and a big baller just walked in. That's
Harry Dubin, like the pirate. I mean, that was like
really pounce on each other's men. It's really
they did.
And Sonia would be on the shit end every time. Just be like, I had him first. Oh, well, girl, the DJ called you to the stage. This is my lap dance now, you know?
So they have some talk about like finding someone for Jeff, and they joke about like, oh, what if she's like 20 years younger, and talk about how Crystal was, like met Rob and he was 20 years older than her, and that like when Jeff first met Rob, he had like a button down on that was unbuttoned down to his navel, which I really didn't need to have that image of Rob.
Imagery, right?
I don't think we need to associate that with the Lion King. So anyway, let's go over to the old corral, whatever. Okay, corral with Kyle. Okay, another. As dull as this episode was, there were some very funny moments. Okay. So Kyle pulls up. She's got this new Range Rover, the autograph edition or whatever it's called, which is funny because like, who's going up to get Kyle's autograph?
Honestly.
It should have been just called like, I had a role in Halloween Kills edition, you know?
And now you need my signature on this signature card. Girl, get the fuck out of my face.
So she shows up in this Range Rover, and Dorit comes over and she's like, oh, gee, I'm so excited for your new car. I mean, even though I literally have the same one, but congratulations. Which is hilarious because it's like I'm just gonna rain on your parade a little bit, but also like Ronnie and I have this ongoing theory. Like Kyle is so jealous of everyone else. She copies everyone else.
Something everyone else gets, absolutely.
Like if you get a watch, she gets a watch, and here she is getting Dorit's car.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I wouldn't be surprised though if it was like Kathy's car though.
Probably it was Kathy's car that she bought for the quote unquote lady. So
and then Dorit got it, and then Kyle got it.
Yeah. So Dorit's like, but anyway, Kyle, congratulations. I'm obsessed with your car, which is actually really my car if you really
Wait,
think
time
about
out
it.
though. How can Dorit afford that car?
Oh, well, I heard she went down to the Tustin Auto Mall with, a handbag of hundred hundred and fifty thousand
$10,000,
dollars
$100,000 in a
in her cart.
handbag.
She took a rascal down there and just put it right in the front. She's like, and all the money flew out on the freeway.
Can you put a Range Rover in a cart? Can you do that?
I'd like to buy a Range Rover for Christmas for all my dear
I
friends.
just reached up to get the Range Rover on the top shelf, and I look back, and my bag full of $1 million is missing.
It was so traumatic. There I was walking through Walmart and I saw PK's beautiful yellow face. Turns out that was actually just the Walmart logo. Next thing I knew, my money was gone.
What if it's just PK stealing his money back from Dorit because he knows that he can't afford any of the purchases that she makes?
Listen, I've seen Ruthless People, okay? That is 100% PK. Did you ever see that movie?
No.
It's with
What is that?
It's so good. It's from the 80s. Everyone go watch it. Okay. It's with Danny DeVito, Bette Midler. Yeah, Bette Midler, Judge Reinhold.
Wait, this lineup sounds... You said Judge Reinhold?
Yes.
Wait, time out. Judge... Okay, you know how you be having random crushes when you're a young kid?
Of course.
And you don't know why you find this person's particular face very soothing and attractive. Judge Reinhold is one of those faces.
Wow. You know what? I get it. I totally get it. I mean, he was cute. He was cute. Yeah.
Also, another one of the 80s, randomly soothing cute faces is the lead guy from Police Academy. What's his name?
Steve Guttenberg.
Yes.
No, Steve Guttenberg and Judge Reinhold I always link together. They sort of had that same
type of face. Yeah.
There was that face that was popular at that time, like Andrew McCarthy.
Yes.
They sort of had that kind of... It was a look.
Yeah, so I like Judge Reinhold. But okay,
oh, you would love this movie.
Judge Reinhold and
Helen Slater and there's some others, but either way, it's basically Judge Reinhold and Helen Slater kidnap Bette Midler, who's Danny DeVito's awful wife. And they try to hold her for ransom, but Danny DeVito is so happy that someone finally took care of his wife that he won't pay.
Take my wife. Take my wife, please.
It's literally that joke, and he will not pay the ransom, and it's hilarity ensues. But what's great is there's a scene where Bette Midler sort of befriends her abductors, and so he does not want her back, and they're like, we give us $50,000 or we'll kill her. And he's like, I'll give you $30,000. Fine, $30,000. And Bette Midler goes, wait a second, I've been marked down? That has nothing to do with this episode, I just want to say.
But definitely PK is Danny DeVito. Please.
He's Danny DeVito in any Danny DeVito movie.
Take the money, everything, yeah.
Yeah, they are definitely up to some Ruthless People stuff. Watch that movie. It's definitely Dorit and PK. So Kyle has picked up Dorit to go to lunch, but what Dorit doesn't know is that PK has arranged a giant surprise at the Beverly Wilshire Hotel. Because
I did not.
No, this felt like a last minute thing where they're like, oh shit, we need to film today. PK, do you have some idea of what we could do? So they're going to recreate, for their anniversary, he's going to recreate meticulously Pretty Woman. And Kyle said exactly what I was thinking, which was shocking. But Kyle's like, does PK know exactly
what that movie's about?
Does he realize what role he's putting his wife in at this moment?
But generally speaking, the fact that pop culture romanticizes that movie in general is kind of crazy. It's okay, she's a rundown prostitute and this man can't control himself. What are we, hey, okay.
Yeah, it should have been a step forward, honestly, for the entire profession. It really should have been a breakthrough movie, but the only takeaway was stay away from Jason Alexander.
I know, truly. He's a creep. Oh, okay. So weirdos rape prostitutes. Got it.
Got it.
Okay, thanks. But it's
Great
all
soundtrack.
okay if you take me shopping on Rodeo Drive.
Yeah. So Dorit and Kyle are driving, and Dorit basically is like,
Coil, is like everything okay with you? I feel like there's like a certain heaviness.
which I'm like, you're not allowed to say that on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
I know, truly, she's gonna go throw up in the bathroom right away.
That is heaviness is a 4-letter word on this cast, okay?
I was so shocked. And whatever, like I've just been living my real life, so I'm not calorie counting the way, but like they really care about this stuff. They really care about being skinny. I forgot how hard
do.
LA is to be a woman in.
Yeah, it's they really do. So Kyle's basically denying. She's like, "Oh, like things are fine. Like Mauricio's just been like really stressed with work." And like Kyle's tongue just starts like doing laps around her lips. Like that's how you can tell she's like, yeah, no, like everything's fine. Everything's like totally fine right now.
It's like a froggy thing though, like a quick
It's like
dart.
It is. It's like lizard-like. It's like it's like she's always catching a fly. So she's basically saying, Dorit's saying that like, she and PK used to always have dinner with Kyle and Mauricio and go on vacations. They haven't seen them in forever, and she feels like something is really up, and she's not even seeing Mauricio on Kyle's Instagram anymore. And so Kyle's saying, oh, I just needed some freedom and space from the intensive workload that Kyle has on a day-to-day basis.
Like, what is it? So like I want to be sympathetic. I really do. And I think I am. But something feels so childish about the way she's going about all of this.
Yes.
It feels
it feels a little petulant a little.
Yeah. Like, okay, I understand. Like, first of all, when did she start calling him Mo? When was that?
I think the Mo thing has been around for a while because I seem to remember Kim Richards calling him Mo when they went on
Maurice. She called him
Maurice. Sorry, Maurice.
She did call Maurice. And then, like, so for me, I was like, okay, Kyle's calling him Mo. Like, she's dissociating from him, right? Because she calls him Mauricio. So she's giving him a nickname. There's some distance she's creating, right? Emotionally.
Yeah.
But, like, everything else, like, just feels so kiddish. Like,
rebellious, like teenage rebellion.
What?
Like teenage rebellion, right?
Yeah, it's like if you're mad at your man, just tell your man he's annoying you. Like, what is like? I just didn't get, and like I think that she like, I don't know what, but
she needs projects. She needs
Yeah.
projects. That's why she has children. She had children. She has Kim. She has Teddy.
And he doesn't need her, right?
He doesn't need her. She's not getting probably the same attention from the kids that she was once getting. Mm-hmm. She's
her
always
and Kathy are broken up.
Yeah.
They're at this part of filming because I think they got back together.
It looks like they're back.
Kathy are broken up at this part of filming. She says to us, she told us she took a break from all the friends in the group, right? So she broke up with Rina, broke up with Erica a little bit.
Listen, and I hold space for the fact that Mauricio may just be like a shitty husband too. Like he could be like totally emotionally distant and awful and yada yada yada. But from what we're seeing on camera, like the vibe that I'm really getting more of is that Kyle is being kind of bratty, And
I think okay, I agree with you a little bit in that like I think that Mauricio has not changed, right? But I don't think he's been good the whole time. I just think he hasn't changed, right? For me, Mauricio's always been a stoned cheater, but he loves Kyle enough that it didn't bother her. Maybe it bothers her now. She's sober, right? It's been, 7 months since she drank? So she's cognizant of it. She's bored. She's sober. Her kids don't need her anymore. Like, being Mauricio's wife probably isn't enough anymore. But I would just say that. I would be like, yo, Mauricio, I need more from you than I'm going to show your mom my tattoos.
Like last week she was like, are you done yet? Are you done yet? Oh my God, are you done yet? Can we, like, I'm waiting for you.
Off the phone.
Yeah. And then he like sits down to talk with her.
Phone, Dad, get off the phone.
I got a tattoo. Yeah, I've got 5 of them now. Oh my God, look at my body. You would know.
Anything about it. You can't do anything about it.
I was like, you made him get off the phone just to be like, huh. it's like it was like a weird energy
such
to
a
me.
teenage thing to do. It's just like call attention to yourself, and then when you get the attention, go, yeah.
Exactly.
That's all she's doing.
So they get to the hotel, and the concierge is like, Miss Richards, we've been expecting you at the Beverly Wilshire Hotel. Here's your key. And she's like, what's going on? Has anyone seen my handbag of $500,000? I'm scared, Kyle.
Don't leave my handbag alone with the maids in the room, Kyle.
So meanwhile, here's some great news for you, Rae. Garcella's at home, and she's told her assistant she wants to go to the crystal store later on because there's going to be a pink moon. All right. And then we go over to... And then we go over to Sutton, and she's setting a table with Avi, and Garcelle shows up, and Sutton has gotten barbecue and like cornbread and all this stuff, and Sutton is talking about her matchmaker and everything, and how it's like really hard, like, you know, the traditional male-female thing. And she says, I was not invited to the boardroom of our marriage, and we all know all the power happens in the boardroom, and I was missing out on all the good stuff, and what should we do with the money? So she's talking about basically her husband said, be a mom, sit there in the corner, and I'm gonna like take away all
I'm
your
very
power.
sympathetic to her. I'm just curious because she got married in like 1990, right? That's what the screen said. Something.
Well, they showed a picture of her with like a baby in 2002.
In 2002, and but her wedding picture was
earlier.
But I was very curious because I know she's from the South. I know they're from the South, but her wedding picture was in New York City in like the 90s. So I'm kind of curious about how that dynamic came about. Like, he's a finance guy in New York, but you're a stay-at-home mom with like very traditional rules. But then you also say that you were part of building the business. I'm not saying I don't believe her. I want to be very clear. I do believe her. I'm just curious about how someone like Sutton, who seems pretty strong-willed and like she always spoke up for herself or whatever, how that dynamic sort of happens to her. Like how, like the process of him engulfing her in that way.
So have you never watched The White Lotus? I'm like,
fair enough.
No, I mean, I feel like I can see what happens.
But you
have
see,
like a waspy.
For Sutton, of all people, her personality.
Yes, I see her doing like following in like a waspy trajectory,
okay, gotcha.
And she's doing the things, and she's sort of getting hemmed in, and she hates it, and she goes into misery. I mean, I feel like I've seen it in many movies, and I know everything about women from movies.
Is the thing, right? She got left.
She got left.
The marriage.
I forgot.
He pulled out, from what I understand, if I remember correctly. So, like, how long was she gonna just accept that? Like, I want to be clear. I'm not victim blaming. I'm just very fascinated about how a woman like Sutton, a personality type, like how it happens to her, or if the strong version of Sutton we're seeing is like in response to what happened to her, you know?
Probably all of the above, but I can totally see Sutton like doing what seems to be right for society, and I'm going to take care of the children, and my mother says this and that, and then all of a sudden, country club, and then she's angry, and then she's like, so you're going to go out again with your friends while I'm here with the children, you know, like scenes like late at night in the kitchen.
She's tired of giving these kids Arnold Palmers. Like, she wants to go out too.
I mean, this is a show that aired on ABC on Sunday nights, you know?
That's true.
But I am with you, though. I think it's probably... I like Sutton. I think that she's very fascinating.
No, I'm fascinated. I want the whole story. And what's unfortunate is because of like the drama that has happened with like the other castmates, like we only get certain like pieces of Sutton's backstory little by little. Like, how am I just finding out this stuff? We're on season, 4 or 5 of her?
Yeah, but that's what I love about her. I do feel like she's always revealing stuff. Sutton to me is what I want in a Real Housewife, which is that she cannot help but be herself. And next week it looks like she's gonna like, you know, go off the deep end, which is my favorite version of Sutton. So
right. I just
I'm
wish
all about her.
I mean, maybe it's greedy, but I just wish I had more information.
Same. It'd be nice to have like spend more time learning about Sutton than watching, you know, Dorit and Erica and Glenn for the millionth time, because I literally do not give a fuck.
I know. I want to know, and I know we know this, but this is just an example. Like, I want to know how, like, a ballet dancer from small town Georgia meets Jennifer Tilly and becomes best friends, you know?
Now
Like,
that is a dream.
right? Like, what is that story? How the fuck did that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they showed us, she gets $300K a month in spousal support. How the fuck? I want to know.
I know Sutton's got many things figured out. So I know you want to know more about Sutton, but would you be okay if I told you that instead we're going to find out more about Garcelle and her kids?
No! Hang me. I'm over it. Come on.
So Sutton's like, now Garcelle, how about you?
I know. I was so mad when she asked that question. I feel so bad because all you want is like a self-aware friend who goes, I've been talking about myself too much. Tell me about you. But I was like, no, don't ask this bitch. No.
Don't do it. Don't do it. So Garcelle starts to choke up and she's like, well, I could burst into tears right now.
I was like, oh, this is why you don't get booked outside of the Coming to America sequel. What do you mean I could burst into tears right now?
Do it. You're an actress. Do it.
Know, right? Come on.
So she's saying how she's like, I think that Jax thinks that I'm doing it all wrong as a parent. I'm like, who cares? You're the parent. Do it. Like, who cares about his approval?
He's like a 15-year-old. Like, who cares? Like, not who cares, right? Like, if he's feeling something, his mom should care. But truly, you are the 15-year-old son of a famous woman
Garcelle should have perspective. She should have enough perspective to be like, he is going through something. I should be attuned to it, but also like,
I like to work, and I just don't see why your teen acting out in ways that aren't dangerous and is just lashing out emotionally the way hormonal teenage boys do is a fucking storyline. Like, I don't give a fuck.
Sutton had the best take. She goes, guess what? Teenage boys are kind of assholes. Okay,
they are.
That's why I made my son work on vending machines.
Get over it. They are assholes. And he's the twin who doesn't have a girlfriend, so he's probably salty about that shit too.
Yeah, he's horny.
Brother's not hanging out anymore. There's some girl over all the time. His mom is off filming Michelle Buteau's show. He's salty. That's what it is.
So Sutton basically says this is why she and Garcelle have this bond, because they're single mothers who have exes that are involved in their lives, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So then we go to back to the hotel, and now Kyle has led Dorit to like a standard. Like, if you went on to the Beverly Wilshire hotel website, it's like, here's a variety of rooms. Here's your standard queen room. And this is 200 square feet and has an ice bucket. So they're in this room. I mentioned this only because Dorit is pissed. She's like,
mad about it.
She's like, why don't I have the presidential suites? Why am I here?
Because Dorit, PK can't afford it. He's lying to you.
Now we know where that $10,000 went.
Hello?
PK's like,
He's
all right.
Back. He stole his money back.
When you see my wife, go get the envelope she keeps the money in and deliver it to the Beverly Wilshire. So basically Dorit is so confused, and Kyle's like, doesn't this remind you of any movies you have seen? Not including Halloween Kills, obviously, which I was a star of.
Which I started.
I started.
Made very important, aside from Jamie Lee Curtis. Who came to my show last season? She came on our show last season.
I mean, you know, Oscar winner Jamie Lee Curtis and friend of mine. Yeah.
A friend of mine. Honestly though, do you think that Jamie Lee Curtis texts Kyle?
Oddly enough, I think she does. I do think that, but not all the time.
Or do you think it's like, oh, here's my fun reality TV friend that I don't take seriously?
I think that what she does is Jamie Lee Curtis is like, so who is J Balvin? Kyle, have you ever heard of someone named J Balvin?
J Balvin wants to meet me. Kyle, have you heard of him?
I think she checks with Kyle to be like, is this someone? I was gonna ask my kid, but they're sick of these.
By the way, Do you remember when Jamie Lee Curtis was in Offset's music video?
No, she was?
Okay, so I was so surprised by this because I was like, why did Jamie Lee Curtis agree to do a video with Cardi B and Offset? And not only did she do a video with Cardi B and Offset, she and Offset recreated that James Brown interview where he had just gotten released from prison for assaulting his wife and was clearly on all the cocaine in that interview. And the like white woman reporter was trying to navigate this. Like it's classic. It's from like the 80s or something, early 90s probably. And I'm sitting here being like, what? How or whatever. And now that you say that Kyle might be her friend that she like runs things through, I totally see her texting Jamie Lee texting Kyle like, should I hang out with Cardi B and Offset? And Kyle be like, yes, do it.
No, Kyle's like, hey Alexia, what's Offset?
Kris Jenner, do you know Offset?
Do you know Offset? Are any of your daughters married to him?
Are any of your black grandchildren fathered by Offset?
Is Offset a person or is that a filter on Instagram? I have to get back to an Oscar winner.
Absolutely. This explains everything. This explains
right? Like I think it's that sort of relationship. Okay. So then Dorit finally realizes that this is a Pretty Woman thing. Mm-hmm. And she's like, but then when she finds out, she doesn't think, oh, this is so cute. She's like, but Pretty Woman, but like, gee, like in Pretty Woman, Richard Gere buys Vivian all the breakfast that she could ever want. And I have some crudités and fruit I have to put out myself. She wants like the accuracy of Pretty Woman. She's like ready.
This is the only time Dorit will ever eat. So it's very important that this happens. We got to get Dorit some food on camera.
Yeah, she says,
I mean, I've got to pour my own water, and like I've got to lay out my own fruit. I mean, this does not exactly scream, "Hello, it's your anniversary."
I'm like, you have free fruit and water and crudités in the Beverly Wilshire Hotel right now, and you still want more.
You're good, Marie.
So then she's like, who's taking care of the kids? So she starts to get freaked out and everything.
She's never left the kids unsupervised. Girl, bye.
Girl, who was looking after the kids before you knew about the surprise?
Exactly. Like when you got into Kyle's Range Rover, who was taking care of the kids?
I know. So she has to do all that, and she talks about her anxiety and control issues, and she's like,
you know, before I was at a 10, but after the 2 robberies, including when I was walking through beverages and more, and it turns out I had beverages and less. Oh, my anxiety is at 1,000.
Also, I know that like it's right to feel violated when someone takes something from you, especially after you had an encounter home invasion.
Of course.
But a burglary is not the same thing as a robbery. You didn't get robbed twice. You got robbed once, and then your stupid ass took a bag of money to Target and left it on the front of your cart. Those are 2 different things, my friend. That's one PTSD. You don't get to claim 2 PTSDs. That's one PTSD.
That was like I'm a dumbass moment.
Yeah,
okay. And look, it's like you said, it still is violating even when someone does that. But that being said, they're different. They are different.
You don't get to, look, I'm going to sympathize with you, Dorit. Both of them suck, but you don't get to.
And I understand the trigger. I understand how it would trigger her, but
you
still.
don't get 2 PTSDs on that one. You get 1 PTSD and 1 really uncomfortable situation,
Your coupon is only good for 1 PTSD. Exactly. Unfortunately. So Kyle calls PK, and because Dorit's freaking out, and PK's like, all right, tell her it's a beautiful surprise, and the entire family are in on it. And she's just got to relax, okay? And Kyle's like...
It's not a surprise anymore.
It's really not. And then, so Kyle just keeps on laughing because it is funny. Like, this is one of those times I'm on Kyle's side. And then PK and Dorit are talking. And he's like, I'm talking to us in a confessional. And he's like, Kai and I, we laugh together a lot, and she enjoys when something potentially bad is happening to me. And when we talk about surprises and Kai being involved, maybe the biggest surprise would be if Maurizio ever did that for her. That would be a big surprise. We're like,
I know, right? I was like, ooh, drag.
PK is like one of those guys in Target. He came out of nowhere and just that came out of nowhere, and so
He came to scoop that bag, that Kyle and Mauricio 10K. Like, whoa. But here's my thing. So then here's the question. Because they were friends as a couple, which means that Kyle was Dorit's friend, Mauricio was PK's friend. So what does PK know?
what does he know? I would like to know.
And Sutton said that the only rumor she had heard was that PK was in the car with a woman when he got stopped for that DUI. So Are they just regularly, because Mauricio's always stoned, like are they just regularly like
covering for each other?
Covering each other on stuff, covering each other with women under the influence and stuff?
There's obviously much more to this. So Dorit then calls her kids, which is, I don't know. She calls the kids and they're like,
Mommy, we're involved. We know everything. We even know that Berlin is coming to the hotel room later, and we don't even know who that is.
And Daddy told us about the prostitute movie.
Daddy told us about prostitution. He also said that the night he got drunk driving over, that he had prostitute in his car. Okay.
all right. That's good enough. That's good enough.
Thank you, Jagger.
Thank you, Jagger. Thank you very much. So now we go over to we're still in the hotel room. Like then the glam team arrives, Justine, and they come in with like a rack of red dresses, just like Julia Roberts' famous. And Dorita's still like unhappy. She's like, he wants to put me in a red dress. I mean, like here's the thing. I'm an actual designer and stylist.
Oh my God, girl.
Beverly Beach.
Asking for Beverly Beach bronzer. I'm an actual stylist. Where's the Beverly Beach bronzer? Oh, give me a fucking break.
If I'm going to wear this red dress around, I need some Beverly Beach bronzer. I'm like, well, maybe you should start manufacturing it
Maybe she did want to look
first.
like a cheap prostitute, and Beverly Beach bronzer was the only thing that'll make it work. I don't know.
Beverly Beach bronzer is the chosen bronzer if you are a hooker with a heart of gold who's just been summoned up to the Beverly Wilshire Hotel. So,
she says, well, the last few hours have been anxiety-provoking. No greater anxiety than being whisked away to a 4-star hotel and given crudités in your private suite.
It's even scarier than being robbed at gunpoint in my own home.
Apparently. So now PK arrives in her rented sports car in a tux at the hotel, and then we see like a montage of their like the history of their big surprises over the years. We have like that time they had a party and PK's like, ladies and gentlemen, we know we told you we were having some mold reclamation happening over here, but guess what? It's Boy George.
It's like, oh no, we don't have a fungal infection. It's Boy George.
Remember they invited everyone in there and said, sorry about the curtains, we have some black mold. Sorry about that. Got a little bit of black mold. We have some KN95 masks.
And it was so taggy. Does he still represent Boy George, or did Boy George fire him?
I'm not sure, but I think that they're they do. No, they do, because did you see that there's Ronnie showed me this last week that there's some sort of Peter Pan production that's happening this holiday season with Boy George as Captain Hook.
Who? Captain Hook?
Well,
okay, that makes
Boy
sense.
George is Captain Hook, and you know who's Wendy?
Who?
Dorit.
Shut the fuck up. You lying.
Look it up.
In real life?
In real life. This is a real life production that's happening. It's like Boy George is like this coy Dr. Hook. As in...
You're lying.
You see it? Did you look it up?
No. Oh my God. You're fucking kidding me.
Boy George, Peter Pan. I'm looking it up right now. It's Peter Pan. Okay, it's Peter Pan at the UK Arena. It's like and it's on roller skates too, by the way.
Oh, you're kidding. This is not real. Wait, first of all, I don't know if this is the thing of my dreams or my nightmares. I think it's both.
This is a real production, okay? Starring Boy George and Dorit, and then like lots of other
tour.
with
Shut the fuck up. I'm sorry, I've been swearing so much on you guys.
You can swear. You can swear. This is okay.
Oh my God. It's a tour. First of all, hold on. Look, for your audience that is watching this, this is the poster.
Here, I'll put up. Okay, let's see if I can put this up on stage. I'm on the thing.
And it says, wait, time out. Look, World's Biggest Productions presents.
Hey, babe, we got the world's biggest production ever of Peter Pan. Okay, I want you to be Wendy. All right? You're going to be Wendy. Boy's going to be Captain Hook. I'll be the crocodile.
Reviews. Wait, hold on. Reviews.
Oh, there's already been reviews.
They described it as Panto meets Cirque. I don't know what Panto is. And Blackpool Gazette editor Vanessa Sims reveals it didn't disappoint. I don't know anything about UK newspapers, but I certainly have never heard of the Blackpool Gazette.
I like that someone said it didn't disappoint. It could only disappoint if you had any expectations that it would be good.
Wait, hold on. Boy George arrived on stage to huge applause in a life-size galleon wearing his trademark eyeliner and huge hat. When he belted out Karma Chameleon, why are you singing
what? Why are you singing
Peter Pan?
Is it a jukebox musical too?
Oh my God.
What did Dorit sing?
It was.
That's what I want to know.
He was in his element. Okay, hold on. You said Dorit was Wendy, right?
I believe Dorit is Wendy.
Okay, here we go. Wendy was also brilliant. Her rendition of My Heart Will Go On while being attacked by pirates. Wait, no. Let me finish the sentence. Her rendition of My Heart Will Go On while being attacked by pirates with cream pies was faultless.
It was faultless. The combination of the description but with the rapturous theater review is one of the best things of all time. It was faultless. The way she sang "My Heart Will Go On" while she's attacked by cream pies and from pirates was faultless.
With cream pies? Why are you cream pieing Wendy?
The most terrible thing happened to me. I had just taken out £10,000 from the bank to buy Christmas gifts, as you know. And then all of a sudden, 3 pirates came up to me and pounded me in the face with cream pies. I couldn't see a thing. And when PK finally licked the dairy off my eyelids, the money was gone. Later, the authorities found it under Boy George's massive hat that he's been trying to make happen for about 20 years.
Oh my God, I cannot believe this is real. Oh, it already ended. Oh, look, Blackpool Winter Gardens through October. Okay, then you can book tickets to M&S Bank Arena in Liverpool in December. Oh, they have not booked. What do you mean World Productions presents? These are all small UK venues no one gives a fuck about.
That being said, I hope it comes to LA because I am seeing this. I am seeing. Book it.
If they come
at SoFi
stateside,
Stadium.
if they come stateside, do you want to go?
100%. I am going.
Okay.
Oh wait, I just got a notification. Hey, they actually did book a venue. It's called the Capri Room in the Buca di Beppo of Encino.
Dorit is very excited to come back to her home stage to Buca di Beppo.
The way that she took 5 raviolis to the face while singing "My Heart Will Go On"
My heart will go on.
was faultless.
Faultless is so absurd. Sorry, these are the sounds of New York. I apologize.
Oh, that's great.
Right, like, and my window is closed, but like, I don't know why in November, men are still driving down the street with their windows down, blasting reggae and hip hop, and I just don't get it. But anyway, Faultless, just like as a review by a critic, like is
It's so perfect.
amazing.
It
Sorry, I
is
know we went extremely off
such.
track with
It
that.
is such. This is the stereotypical rapturous theater critic going to like a community production of Peter Pan on roller skates starring Boy George and television's Dorit Kemsley singing songs from the 80s and 90s while they take cream pies to the face. Faultless.
Also, cream pie is a porn term, and I'm just
There's
like,
that too.
I'm just kind of like,
There's so much happening,
when
and it's
you
all
get
so much more
cream
entertaining
pie
than the
by
actual episode.
Three pirates, and it's faultless.
And she's singing "My Heart Will Go On." And she's singing "My Heart Will Go On."
Sorry.
I'm sure it was like a funny thing. I'm seeing it. I'm going to see this. Okay, so PK's arrived. So then they go down. So then Dorit and PK go down to Cut Lounge, not to be confused with Cut Fitness, but this is an actual high-end restaurant in this place. But they're too poor to actually eat anything in Wolfgang Puck's restaurant, so they just stand at the bar while a bartender doesn't know what to do. He's like, "Where should I put my hands? I'm on camera." And then they go back up to. This time they go to like a room that's like a double king suite,
Right?
And they go up there. So they go in. Oh, but first PK does the whole jewelry box thing, and I think that Dorit sincerely falls for it, even though it's very obvious what's going to happen. I think she's surprised.
So here's the thing, and when you say that, I was trying to navigate this in my watching of the episode. Like, I'm not attracted to PK, obviously, but like Dorit is, and it kind of confounds me.
Yeah, I think at this point we're just used to. My friend was telling a story about how his fiance had horrific appendicitis because we're talking about this because obviously I had my appendix out, but his fiance had this terrible appendicitis, and then when she first went to the hospital, they're like, "Oh yeah, your appendix is really bad," but then they started doing other tests or whatever. And they gave her antibiotics, and then she went home because it got better. And then she kept on having, like, it kept on flaring up. But every time she went into the hospital, they were like, "Oh, I wonder what it could be." And they kept on overlooking the fact that she had originally tested for appendicitis, and they kept on testing her for this gastrointestinal thing and that gastrointestinal thing. And it went on for like a few years, and every time she'd be like in pain, but they would always prescribe antibiotics so it would get better, and she'd go home. And then finally, at one point, a nurse was looking through her charts 3 years later and said, "Oh, hey, like they said you had a bet, like your appendix was inflamed," and people just sort of forgot about that. Like, "Oh yeah," so they took it out. The point is, at a certain point, we've sort of overlooked the central thing here, which is like
PK's gross.
We've gotten so used to it that we're like those doctors who've sort of forgotten about the central diagnosis, and we're just like asking all these other questions instead.
Yes, because even when they showed their wedding photo, and Dorit was so much younger, and she's, still a very beautiful woman or whatever, but like PK didn't look any better when he was younger or anything, and we know the money's not real. So I'm like, girl, why are we here? Like, are you letting this gremlin crawl on you and take you down? Like,
because he's like, babe, someday you're a star, and someday I'm gonna put you on some roller skates, get you rolling around Boy George, take a bunch of cream pies to the face. You're gonna sing "My Heart Will Go On."
God,
and you're going to take over the Blackpool theater scene.
Once he's had to file bankruptcy and shit, like he has, the allure wears off. Like, why are you still there? You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe she genuinely loves this dude.
Well, the rumors are that there's trouble in paradise right now.
But like, for me, I kind of am just looking at him, and I know this might be TMI, but like, I just can't picture myself like enthusiastically gagging on PK's dick at all, ever. Like, I don't give a fuck how many Pretty Woman movies you recreate. That's disgusting.
Well, it's like you look at a jar of mayonnaise and you say, "Ugh," but then you're like, "I'll put some on my sandwich."
Okay.
So
fair enough. She's not gagging on the mayonnaise. She's just putting a little bit on her sandwich.
Got a little lubrication. So anyway, so they go. So after they like have a moment where they eat nothing at cut, they go upstairs to their second suite, and PK goes, "Babe, I wanted to take your breath away like you do mine, Berlin." And so we walk in,
No,
and
no.
it's like
I
I
actually,
didn't.
I love this.
This was hilarious to me because I didn't realize it was actually Berlin. So I was like, "Oh, they found a random
But she
person with a
looks
guitar."
so different. She looks so different.
I don't have a vision in my head of what Berlin ever looked like.
Okay.
So, but I just loved that Berlin is there, and he just to reiterate to Dorit
Had to
and the
say it
audience,
again.
he's like, "It's
It's
Berlin,
Berlin."
babe. It's Berlin." She's like,
No, it's Beverly Hills actually, but you know, it sort of feels like it's sort of artsy in here, sort of like East Berlin.
"No, babe. The
And we've
singers are
got weird
Berlin."
accents. We're certainly not in America.
But Berlin, but what's that have to do with Pretty Woman?
She's like, babe, I put an offer out. I said, who can I get to the hotel for $10,000, which I conveniently have, and got Berlin, babe."
She's like, oh, singing a song from a totally different movie. That's
Exactly. And
Great.
that was another thing too. I was like, isn't Berlin from the Tom Cruise movie?
It literally says on screen from Top Gun.
Oh,
Where Roxette
there you go.
was Roxette's price a little bit too high? I mean, hello. How are you not? I mean, admittedly, that song it must have been Love, But It's Over Now. Not a good choice. But like, honestly, what about Go West? Go West is doing nothing. I'm sure they would have happily flown in to do King of Wishful Thinking for you. Okay.
And it would have been one thing if he brought in Berlin and just like didn't mention that it was like Berlin, so we could ignore that it was the wrong movie. But he demanded Dorit pay attention to the fact that he had gotten this bitch from the wrong movie.
Like, that's the thing. It's cool that he got Berlin, but if you're gonna have like a song play, just have it from not another movie. Just have
Right.
a song. Make
Yeah.
it anything, but like don't do another movie
Another
song.
80s classic song. For
And he
different-
tries to make it funny. He's like, "Well, maybe I'll take different movies and put them together. Like take the Jungle Book and put in The Godfather." And Dorit's like, "Oh, hello." Dorit does that voice where she goes, "Lord have mercy." Okay. So they sit down, they drink, to finally have their dinner, and PK is like, "I'm not gonna surprise you anymore. This is too much work. I paid money for Berlin, and you didn't even appreciate. You didn't even ask them to play Metro on the Metro.
Well,
You know."
he needs to stop complaining. That did not cost him more than $20K. Berlin is not out here commanding Taylor Swift prices. Give me a fucking break.
Berlin was on the way to Rancho Cucamonga to play at the.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, watch that like the lead singer of Berlin is playing like the other sister from Peter Pan. Like he's just recruiting.
Exactly. Come on.
So Dorit is like upset. She's like that he made her like. He's like, "Babe, I got you glam. Why are you so upset?" She's like,
You think this just happens? There's a lot of effort in putting this on. You know, you can't just slather on the Beverly Beach bronzer yourself. It's an art, you know.
So yeah, she is saying she just really didn't like the surprise, basically. So now
Well,
let's
she's
move
a
on.
Control freak, as Kyle told us. So
She's a control freak. So speaking of Kyle, let's move on to Kyle's house. So it's Portia's birthday party, and Mauricio.
Portia
We see,
is so cute. All of Kyle's daughters are beautiful.
yeah. I mean,
Which
that's good genes in
I
that
don't know
family.
why I forgot, but they're all very good. They're a very good looking family in general.
They're a good-looking family. They're a good-looking family. So, so basically, it's gonna be a Portia birthday party, and as they're setting up, Kyle is like, "Hey Mo," and Mauricio is like, "Oh, hey Love Bean, how you doing?"
Also,
And she's
the love bean shit, I'm over it. Stop it.
I don't like
Stop
love
it,
bean.
Mauricio. I don't give a fuck about no love bean. We never heard this nickname before. What are we doing here? Are you trying to convince me or her? Or is this your like, oh, I know my wife doesn't love me anymore. Let me use affectionate language. What is this love bean? What is this love bean? What is this love bean?
maybe it's just his accent. Maybe he's really saying "love bin" as like there once was
Love's
love.
been
And now,
gone. Love bean. Love's been gone. Love's been gone.
love's been gone.
But like I don't like this love bean thing because I will say that as obnoxious as Kyle has been being. It is very condescending for me to be disagreeing with you, and then you're giving me suddenly this like new.
You're naming me after something that makes people fart.
Right? To not gaslight. Gaslight's too strong a word, but to like, dismiss me and manipulate me into acting differently. Oh, Love Bean, you don't have to do that. Love Bean, suck my D. Okay? I don't like that.
Suck my legume. So the producers are trying to show little slices of life that illustrate the problems between them. So she says hi, and she says Mo, and he says, hi, Love Bean, what have you been doing? And Kyle goes, you do that to me every time, like you don't see me. And he goes, I'm joking, honey. I was like, oh, okay. I guess this was Discord.
Where's the joke? Where's the joke, though? Don't joke.
It's like, okay.
Where's the... I was kidding.
And so then Kyle says that lately they've just they haven't been on the same page and they haven't been in sync. And it's so rare, but they're just not in sync. And then it cuts to Mauricio putting guacamole into a bowl and Kyle saying, you need a spoon. He goes, okay. And then he pours it out anyway. And he's like, oh, I don't need a spoon. And she's like, well, I'll get you one to scrape it out. I was like, oh.
How terrible. This man hates this woman. They can break up.
This relationship is over. He managed to get the guacamole out all by himself and refused the assistants to scrape it out.
Is guacamole a metaphor for a lesbian that Kyle's in a relationship with? Like, what is this supposed to show me?
It's just another example how Kyle's been discarded. She's like, I brought a spoon, and he let gravity do all the work instead. So she's saying that, he's put his heart and soul into the agency. It's the other woman. So
no, it's the 19th other woman, bitch. There's been other women before that. We saw you have to yoke up a woman on camera for hugging your man. Season 2, was it? Season 1?
Oh, I forgot about that.
There's been other women.
That's right, at the white party.
Yes.
She's like, it's too close.
Don't you touch my husband. Don't touch my husband.
But then all these people start coming to the house. Mauricio announces their name. He's like, whoa. It's like, Joey, Jake, Mom.
I'm going to be honest with you. I was surprised by, God forgive me, I don't mean this insulting. I was surprised by how plain looking the people in their friend circle actually are, just because both Mauricio and Kyle have done so much to themselves. Did you see Mauricio's veneers? I don't know why, but this episode really made them jump out at me. And so it was so jarring to see how regular the rest of the people in their life looked.
I know. Mauricio looks like he's eating a picket fence these days. But it is actually more of a... But I think these are mainly coming from Mauricio's side of the family. I think if when Kyle's circle comes over, you get Faye Resnick, you get Kardashians, you get any variety of things. So people come over, and Mauricio's parents come over, and his mom is Estella, and Estella is she's like, by the way, is everything okay with you and Mauricio? She says this to Kyle. She goes, I mean, every time I open up Google, there's something about you guys separating or divorcing. It's getting to the point where I had to text Mauricio and I said, is everything okay? And generally I don't believe these things, but this is too much. This is way too much.
So first of all, ask your son, why are you asking me on camera?
Yep. Especially if you already asked your son, why do you need to ask,
And then also, you weirdo nut job on the internet. I don't want to hear nothing you say. Have you seen her Twitter feed? Don't ask me.
I've seen it. I haven't seen it in a long time, but it's been a little nutty for a while now. So I'm I just
you don't get to ask me questions when you out here bugging out like that on the internet, okay?
That's right. That's ask true. If you're
questions, okay?
So Kyle's like, oh, it's because I was seen without my wedding ring, and it started a rumor, and then she's like, I'm very taken aback that my mother-in-law is asking me this right now, as if Kyle doesn't put everyone on the spot all the time. I mean, Kyle's right, but Kyle also does this to everyone. And she's like,
no, but
yes.
Also, too, honestly, truly, do we really give enough of a fuck about Kyle and Mauricio that we noticed that her wedding ring was missing after one workout. Girl, get the fuck out of my face. You probably walked out of the gym and was like, hand up like this, like, hi, paparazzi.
Kyle does not go anywhere. If Kyle can wear a diamond and show it off, she will. It was totally intentional. It was totally intentional.
Like, it wasn't until she started, like, the rumors of her dating, what's that singer's name? I can't remember now.
Morgan McMorgan.
Yeah. So it wasn't until Morgan that I started seeing Kyle in random paparazzi photos. Truly, I have never seen Kyle caught unawares anywhere. So the idea that paparazzi would be like catching Kyle coming out the fucking gym and she just happens to have her wedding ring off, like, give me a fucking break, you know?
Yeah, nothing. I don't think anything is accidental with Kyle.
Nice.
So Kyle and Mauricio are talking about how they're both feeling stressed these days, but like this is happening while people are going over to the buffet chafers and setting things like everyone's serving themselves food. And Mauricio notices a pile of mail in the corner. He's like, yeah, we got to clean up that mail. It's like kind of embarrassing. And she's like, yeah, it's a real good time to tell me. I mean, I just told you how overwhelmed and stressed I am. And now you're telling me to clean up the mail? Like, lady, he just is like, oh my God, we have mail.
Yeah.
We have a lot of mail. We have a lot of mail. So then
and you do have a lot of mail.
You have a lot of mail. You have a lot of mail. And he's realizing like, oh shit, we have company over. We have a lot of mail. We got to take care of this.
Your house doesn't look dirty to you until somebody's supposed to come see it. That's what my life is. Why are you acting like that's different? You forgot to call the cleaners this week, Kyle. And that's why you're mad, because you think he's calling you out when really he just noticed there's a lot of mail.
And also, like, I kind of feel like maybe on some level, Mauricio is saying that to like slightly loudly, so that way people are like, "Oh, it's his way of saying if you're wondering why we have a stack of mail, like, our bad. We've got to do it. Like, we're aware. We know we got a stack of mail." By the way, I found it oddly reassuring to know that Kyle and Mauricio have a stack of mail, because I always have a stack of mail. I'm so bad.
There is nothing, because I don't remember if it was this episode or last episode, but there was a scene with Dorit and PK in the kitchen, and PK was eating 2 bags of potato chips or whatever. But there was literally nothing out of place in their kitchen besides the fact that he was eating 2 bags of chips. So one, that was obviously very staged, but 2, it stressed me out so much because I know it's unattractive, but I need to see clutter in somebody's kitchen, please, because an uncluttered kitchen causes me so much anxiety.
Oh, well, you'd be very stressed when you start watching Salt Lake City when they get to Angie K's kitchen, because it's
spick and span clean.
Well, it's like an unlived-in kitchen. It will drive you nuts.
No, I want to see like a mountain of mail. Maybe you don't have to have a dirty kitchen, but have like a coffee machine that looks like it was recently used, or like a fork laying around or something. You know what I mean?
Or just like a little can with some pens in it.
Yes, something.
Yeah, I agree.
Or your unopened mail on the kitchen counter, because it's the first. Well, their houses are huge, but it's the first place you're in when you walk into the house. You dump it on the kitchen counter, and then you just go sit on your.
You couch. Just go, because you're like, I'm like, okay, I got something from AAA. Junk. Looks like there's something from insurance. I'll deal with that later. What I do,
go back to sender because he doesn't live here anymore, and then you just go sit on your couch.
Yeah, what I actually sometimes do is I will open my mail and I'll throw out the junk mail, and then I'll have the mail that's like, okay, this is important. I should keep this for my little filing cabinet. So I make a little stack, and then I put it back in like the bin where I keep the mail. Yeah. So I have basically a little stack of opened but unfiled mail. So it's like fake. It's fake dealt with, but it's still a stack.
So is your like mail bin? Your mail bin is opened bills that you're gonna pay later.
My mail bin is like, here's a letter from the IRS. Here's like, hey, your insurance policy. No, but I also have mail in there, so I don't check the mail for like 6 weeks, and then I do check it, and so I have like mail, unopened mail on top of opened and faux organized mail.
And then also just your college asking you for money. It's just like
that's on the recycling bin. I love my college, but I'm like, that's going right in.
Like university reminding you that homecoming season is coming.
I know. It's like,
You
congratulations, they just built
sponsor
a
a freshman this year or some shit like that.
Dartmouth College just built a street lamp. Would you like to donate?
Exactly.
So anyway, so we're at the dinner table and everyone's eating, and Kyle goes, "Oh, Farrah, look at your tattoo," which is a very Kyle way
So
of saying, like, I want
childish
to.
too.
It's like Kyle saying, "I want to talk about tattoos." She's like, "Look
Yeah.
at your tattoo." So Farrah's like, "Oh, it's not real," and Kyle goes, "Oh, she's testing it out, unlike me."
I was like, and the thing to me, I guess, is like, I don't know, it's so transparent. Like, why isn't anyone else at the table being like, why are you acting like a 5-year-old right now? Like, they're engaging, they're trying to work this tattoo situation out. And I would have just been like, bitch, what you need attention for right now? What's the issue? What's the real issue?
Exactly. So Mauricio's eyes bulge, like, oh God, because he knows what's happening. And so Kyle goes, she whispers to Mauricio, "Do your parents know I have a tattoo and you have one too?" And he's like, "No." Which, it's like, again, Kyle's on camera. She knows, even though she's whispering, she knows it's getting picked up. She's been around the block. She knows how this works.
Question though, and you're Jewish, so
Yes.
I don't know if Mauricio's family is more strict. First of all, Ben, do you have any tattoos?
I have no tattoos.
Is that
except for it's
cultural
not
thing, religious thing, or you just don't feel the need?
I never I've never really felt the need. Maybe there's some sort of cultural influence, but I also am like, we've never been able to decide on anything that I want to have in my body for the rest of my life.
Okay.
I'm like I have a hard enough time sorting my mail. I'm not gonna be able to figure out something.
So I have 3 dumb tattoos that I definitely got all before I was 22. Like, it never occurred to me in my for real adult self to get a tattoo. But were I to get a tattoo, it's not against Islam, so my parents wouldn't care on a religious level, but like, or maybe it is against Islam and I just didn't know. But like, my parents, like, I'm not gonna be like a very wealthy 50-something-year-old person and anxious that my mother-in-law or my mom finds out that I drew on my body. Like, you can all eat a dick. Like, what are we talking about here?
But he might also be like,
next year.
But you know what though, Ray? Jewish mothers,
Different things?
let me tell you something. This is what he doesn't want to deal with. He doesn't want to deal with like months of his mom saying, "Well, you know, you have a tattoo." I mean, this is coming from a man who has a tattoo. I mean, I thought I knew everything about my son, but he has a tattoo. He didn't want to even tell me.
I was just wondering, why does he care if she finds out? Because he was all,
he just doesn't want to deal with the hassle.
Tell her, and I was like, what? Like, what?
He knows it's going to be a thing. It's never going to go away. Yada yada yada. So now Kyle pulls Estella in the kitchen, and she's like, "Hey, I want to tell you something. You're not gonna like it. I got tattoos." And Estella's like, "I'm okay. I mean, I don't consider you my real daughter." She's like, I don't give a fuck about you, Kyle. You're deeply mistaken.
My son, don't ruin my baby. You can destroy yourself. You weren't born Jewish anyway. But this one, he's the one I care.
You're a shiksa. We're still a shiksa. So Kyle's like, "You are okay?" She's like, "Yeah. Where's my son?" She goes, "What do you mean?" She goes, "I mean, you got a tattoo, so it's his name, right?" Which I thought I loved that power play of like, bitch, if you're getting a tattoo, it better be my son's name.
It better be my son's name, yeah.
Better be my son's name, because you've been playing too much Katie Lang around this household lately.
You've been working out, and you're so now. You better got my son's name where you are.
You look like you just planted crops somewhere, okay?
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting power play, especially since one of the first things she had done was walk in the house and ask if there was a problem in the marriage, right? But then when Kyle says, "No, because that's a jinx," it's like, but bitch, you've been married for 30 years. Like, what could be a jinx at this point?
Yeah. How about the fact that Kyle and Mauricio were on the cover of the Not magazine celebrating 25 special years together? That's what I call a jinx. That's a jinx. I got a gift. I got a promotional box because of that. It arrived in my house. It said, yeah, it was a box, and you opened it up, and it was like 25 years strong. Me and Mauricio. It's like audio that came out, and then it was like a shot ski, and there were glasses, and there was the magazine, and there was this. Let me tell you something. It was a great box. It was a great box. I will happily support Kyle's marriage if it means I get more boxes like that, because that was great. Whoever did that.
Kyle's not supporting her marriage. She don't want no boxes, no more.
But by the way, this was Kyle's counter punch. When Estella says, like, what's going on with your marriage? And she's like, it's fine. This is Kyle saying, okay, you want me to squirm on camera? Now you're gonna squirm because I have tattoos. So Estella's like, you're not gonna catch me. You're not gonna catch me. She's like, I don't care.
Did you put his name on you? Did you put his name on you? Like God intended. It was great.
So Kyle's like, no, I didn't. And it's a jinx. And Estella's like, oh, well, and she goes, oh, and I know the girls have one. She's like, I know. You're trying to outfox me, but you can't outfox me. So then Kyle's like, oh, yeah? Did you know your son has one? So Estella's like,
she got her. She did get her. She did get her.
Estella's airplane in the movie, like now there's smoke coming out of the wing. She's like, I've been hit. Take my breath away.
But like, honestly though, did you like? I'm just having such a hard time. I know this is all very stupid, but like, I'm really truly having a hard time wrapping my head around my 70-something mother freaking out because I have a tattoo that's clearly so unnoticeable that I've never seen it before.
Well, maybe it's because Mauricio, maybe because on some level, maybe Estella doesn't like Kyle. Maybe Estella never accepted Kyle. And Mauricio is between the two of them. And so, like, he knows his mom's gonna be like, she's a bad influence, and you know what? Like, she's cheating on you, and you should leave him. And he probably doesn't want, like, or you should leave her. He probably doesn't want to hear it. And that Kyle has given Estella more ammunition. And the last thing she wants to deal with.
Okay. Because I was trying to find out the dynamic, because the way that the mom felt so comfortable asking her about the marriage on camera, it didn't feel like a genuine, like, good relationship. It did feel like I already talked to my son, but you tell me the truth on camera. Like,
she is a psychologist. She knows.
That's true. She's a psychologist? Oh my God.
Isn't she a psychologist or a psychiatrist?
Can you imagine that crazy lady in charge of your brain? Oh no! But
I should double check that before but I'm pretty sure she is.
Oh my God, that's terrifying. But yeah, it didn't feel like a warm dynamic, is what I'll say.
No. So now they light the cake for Portia, and Kyle is so ridiculous. But she tells Mauricio, she leans in and says, "Oh, I told your mom that you have a tattoo," and he's like, what is wrong with you? Why would you do that?
Why would you? And so she's absolutely right. Like, why would you do that, you weirdo? And now it's a joke. I took it back. I took it.
And then she's like, oh, like what? And then she's like, I mean, she doesn't care. And he's like, but why would I not be allowed to say that? Like, what is up with that? That's like my body, my choice. And she's like,
after he had just told her that she's not allowed to get more tattoos. So like, I was like, what do you mean my body, my choice? Like,
that's true. So then Kyle's like, well, she noticed a tattoo on, but then by the way, she was the one who did say it's my body. I'll do what I want with it. So it goes both ways. So Kyle's like, well, she noticed a tattoo on me. And then I said, like, you have one, but maybe don't. I said, maybe don't. So I don't know, which is like literal lie from Kyle.
So stupid. Right? And didn't they literally flash back to them seeing the moment? And she doesn't say that.
She says, did you know that Mauricio has a tattoo? It was... So then he walks away, and then she's like, oh, well, now he's mad at me. I mean, I realized she meant him. Like, I said, she basically talks about how she tried to cover. Like, maybe I saw it, maybe I didn't. I don't know. I don't think that she really believes it. But now she's doing that thing where she appeals to someone else, like, oh, he's mad at me. Poor me. So,
when all you were trying to do was make him mad, is the thing. Like,
That's how she operates. She likes to get people mad, and then when they get mad, she's like, "Well, I feel bad. Oh, I shouldn't have opened my mouth." Or like, "No, I'm the bad guy. Now they're mad at me." She like fires, then retreats.
But this time, it doesn't even just feel like firing, because you remember she goes into the confessional and she's like, sometimes a marriage is amazing. Like, you love every single thing about them and you love whatever. And then sometimes everything about them annoys you. So it's like, you're clearly not just like in an antagonistic relationship with your rival on a reality TV show. Like, you were really trying to piss this man off because you were in real life upset with him for some reason.
But didn't she do this exact same thing to Kim and to Kathy? Isn't this her MO? Like, no pun intended, her MO. But like, isn't this kind of what she does? And I think that she's always had someone that she just like rattles. And so then Kyle is like, she does the thing like, why did I open my mouth? And then she goes up to Mauricio and she's like, well, she doesn't know for sure that you have a tattoo. He's like, I don't want to talk about it. It's not like, it's not about that. It's like, it's mine to talk about, not anyone else's.
Also, bitch, this is our 15-year-old's birthday party. Like, what are you doing?
So Kyle's like, when people talk about going through a tough time, this is it. Here we are. A tough time.
The tough time is a birthday party, and you mentioned to his psycho mom that you have a tattoo. That's not a tough time. That's a situation you created. Like, what are we talking about?
There are people who are going through real tough times. People who bring $10,000 into Best Buy and get burgled.
Stalked by pirates who pre-buy her and steal $10,000 and the TV out of her cart. Are you kidding me?
Some people are just trying to stand on an apple cart and distribute thousands of dollars to the street urchins while they sing "My Heart Will Go On," and they get assailed by literal pirates on roller skates throwing cream pies in their face.
Captain Cook may or may not tie you up to a radiator and beat your ass for 3 days.
That is the real story of Pretty Woman.
Come on. I mean, like, obviously, like, listen, if your marriage was smooth or relatively smooth and it's different now and you're discovering things about yourself or whatever, fine. That might be true. But you're going to confuse all of us and actually minimize our capacity or limit our capacity for empathy when you deny that anything's wrong. You trivialize that there are big things going on in your marriage, and then the things you harp on are these ridiculous things that make you look like a rebellious asshole. Like, you just look like an obnoxious teen. It's just really fucking
that's
dumb.
the thing. That's how it's coming off. And like, there's a way to do this where you don't look like the teen and people be totally on your side, but there's something very Kyle about this.
And I know, and again, I want to be clear that I understand that there's this like Jewish tradition part of the tattoo of it all, but like, of all things to suddenly get rebellious about, it's a fucking tattoo and piercings. Like, bitch, come on. I did this 25 years ago. I'm 35. It's so
like the tattoo rebellion just feels like it's so like 1987. I don't know.
It's so trite. Come on, it's like so it's so cliche. Like, oh, I drew on my body to make a statement because nobody can tell me what to do. Okay? Leave me alone.
She really wants to rebel. She'd start up an OnlyFans.
Oh, come on, Denise. Come on.
Okay, so anyway, after this whole tattoo thing happens, then basically they are like, oh, I guess we still have 10 minutes of airtime. So we watch a very long segment of the women all packing, the women going to like Van Nuys Airport. Erica shows up in a big green outfit with like a snakeskin outfit. She goes, yeah, it's a little pimping, but here I am. I was like, wow, so current.
Where'd she get the money from, by the way? I know that no one mentioned that part this season yet, but she looks pretty good, in my opinion.
Well, I got a beat on some dame who was at CVS. Had $10,000 to spare. That's all I'm going to say about that.
I'm like running out of big box stores. Now I'm at CVS. What's left?
I just want to see Dorit at the Dollar Tree with $10K. She might walk out with the whole store,
Well, I have to give a gift to everyone in the audience for Peter Pan Live.
I just spat all over my microphone. Disgusting. Okay, so they all fly to Las Vegas and they're cheersing, and it's basically segues into coming up next week, which is Sutton freaking out at Magic Mike Live. So there's no use going over this stuff. The real climax was the tattoo. So that really brings us to the end of the episode.
Oh wait, no.
Tell me.
Was the red phantom?
Oh yeah, there were red phantoms waiting for all the women when they landed in Las Vegas. I feel like half the women did not know what a red phantom.
Yeah, I was like, what? It sounded to me like Garcelle was just repeating it because Erica said it. You know,
Dorit's like, "Oh, tickets to Phantom of the Opera, exciting! Is that on roller skates also?"
She's gonna get cream pied by the phantom.
I hope. Instead of, in my version of the Phantom of the Opera, instead of a chandelier falling on the stage, it's just a giant cream pie. Faultless. When the cream pie fell from the ceiling as Dorit Kemsley was singing Kathy Tricoli's song, Everything Changes, it was faultless.
Truly faultless. Oh my God.
Oh my God, Rae, thank you so much for coming on to this episode and
this
just
was
like
really
being
fun. I know we talked so long, but
it's all good. It was so fun to reconnect with you. You are so funny. I love your takes because they're almost, I would actually say like 99% always like deeply accurate. Like I never was able to look at Portia the same after, not this Portia, but Portia Williams, after we did an episode once and you're like, Portia's a con or something like that. And I never was it. I was like, you always convince me. You always take me to your side. So
I'm just good at arguing. I'm probably wrong all the time.
No, you have a great read on people. You really do. Is there anything you want to like promote or shill or anything like that?
No, listen, I'm just working. Look, we just got back off strike. I just got back to work. So I'm hyper focused on my day job and affording my life again. So like stand up and stuff is going to take a backseat and I'm maybe going to dip in and out of watching reality TV. I really just need to recover. And then, I don't know, maybe next year I'm going to pop out with some plastic surgery and you guys are going to think I'm amazing.
Wow. Well, I just want to let you know after this, I'm going to get your name tattooed on my body.
Oh, wow. Is your
it's
mom
a
going
fish.
to be mad about it?
It's a fish. So thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it so much. And everyone, we will catch you on the next episode when Ronnie will be back with many, many tales of BravoCon, I'm sure. Everyone have a wonderful weekend. Catch you all later. Bye.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you were